We are celebrating. We're celebrating the liveness.
Yes.
Of Gay Pride. Yes, we are.
Absolutely.
Why not?
All month of May, June.
We're in June. We've passed May. We're in June right now.
Yeah, look at my calendar when I get up in the morning. Yes.
It's because you are not practicing correctly.
That's right. I'm a month behind, everybody. I'm a month behind. Man, this is throwing me all off.
This is WatchHollywood.tv. Make sure you're going to your Twitter and start twittering and calling and chatting with us.
Look at that.
Give us some live chat so we know what's going on. Engage with us, okay? We want you. We want you.
Absolutely.
Isn't that like the U.S. government or something?
We want you. Like people saying.
Like that.
I want you.
Scare me.
No one can scare you. We're just all having fun here, celebrating, having a blast. I'm here with Frank.
Here with Cassie.
You know, what else could be better?
Nothing.
Saturday morning.
That's right. What a great way to start the day. Hang out, talk to some interesting people about interesting projects.
Nice.
Really cool projects. Really wonderful people. Do we get to say who they are yet, or is it still a secret? Or still ramping up to that?
Secret, right?
Still a secret.
Still a secret.
We're ramping up to that.
Yes.
We're not able to tell you right yet. But,
but
right
trust
yet.
me,
Did you like how I went country?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah, very folksy. Very folksy. Don't worry. Once you hear these guests, are you going to be so excited you want to get in touch with us?
You are. You're going to want to call. You're going to want to chat with us. You're going to want to let us know kind of questions that you have for these people.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's not just us asking
They're
the
fascinating.
questions. Yes.
And they've got really interesting stories, really personally interesting stories.
Yeah.
I know my guests do. What about yours?
Absolutely, mine do.
Okay.
I do not have any interesting stories about myself, though. So
I doubt that.
Yes, no.
Yes, no?
No.
That's like a yes and a no.
No, I do not. I tried to tell Luis my personal story, and he fell asleep.
And what happened?
He fell asleep.
He's not practicing right either. We got to start practicing in the morning. It gives you energy, okay?
All right. I like this.
We all have to catch up.
Let's start the show. We're going to work with that right there.
All right. I love it. All right.
Well, we love it. We're very happy.
Yes.
No feedback.
And you're the best, of course, in the world. So
thank you.
He has made us live. We have a pulse.
We are
Pop,
ready
pop.
to roll.
Pop,
I love it. It's happening, folks. We like Frankenstein's monster. We have come. It's alive. It's alive.
It's alive.
Okay, guys. Eyes on camera.
We're going live in 10 seconds.
So what?
Will you call us or do we start on?
No, we're gonna go.
And we can also, and just try to keep the noise down. Right. Okay. And you guys ready?
Absolutely.
We're
Eyes on camera.
born ready.
Absolutely.
He's been practicing.
I'm late, though.
That's the
We'll get into that later. A little bleak.
boy.
Action.
Hi, everybody. I'm Frank Moran.
And I'm Kassi Crews.
Welcome to WatchHollywood.tv. .tv. How about that? .tv and TV. WatchHollywood.tv and the 5th episode of the Internet's Talk Show. Today's episode is all about celebrating Gay Pride Month.
And we're going to be meeting some with really interesting people. Mel England from the Best Day Ever. He's the star. And Diane Anderson-Minshall. She's the editor-in-chief of Plus Magazine. And Andy Sacher, who is from the Lavender Effect.
Absolutely. You got to start as a Disney Imagineer. That's really cool.
Is that where he started?
Yes. Pretty awesome.
He's fantastic.
Now, in addition to that, we'll be talking to director Jeff London, as well as poet Stephen Rains. It's going to be fantastic.
What we really want you to do is call in, chat with us, get on Twitter, let us know what you're thinking, engage with us. Because if you engage with us, guess what happens?
Free t-shirt and free DVD of Best Day Ever. First 5 people to interact with the show doing that. And the way you do that is you hop on to WatchHollywood.tv, chat us up there, or you can call in at 213-533-2030.
That's 213-533-2030.
Enough about us, though. We want to talk about these interesting people.
Yeah.
All right, folks, stay tuned because WatchHollywood.tv is live.
WatchHollywood.tv. Check us out.
Cut. Let's get your guests in here.
Cool. We're ready for them.
All right.
We're moving around now.
So everyone's good.
Nice to see you. Where do I go?
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Deanne.
I'm sorry.
Say it again.
Again, hello again.
It's a pleasure.
Make
Hi.
sure, thank you. Make sure my phone is off.
Hey, Diane.
Yeah.
Alistair. Nice to meet you.
Hey,
Nice
good to see you.
Can I ask you to stand up for 1 second, please?
Is that stable?
Kind of. Would you hand me my little note?
Jay, will you put this on my back?
It's a little tight up here.
Because we're
Forgive
so
me.
live, it's so much
Can I have
fun.
a seat?
Pull the curtain back is what I say. Pull the curtain back. Where do you like me, darling?
Go ahead.
Are you happy with that?
There. Yep, it's good. Okay,
You want me somewhere else?
yeah.
You just.
So this is all live, everything that we're doing right now. Everyone's
Okay.
seeing everything that's happening in the
So
background.
we get to
We're trying
pull all the
separate
curtains
that.
back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hi,
Step
everyone.
out for 1 second, just-
Yes.
You want to close to that?
Do you want me to move
Yeah,
over a
you can
little
just
bit?
scoot over just a little bit. It's a little tight in here until, you know.
Thank you.
Close and personal.
Up close and personal
Yay.
with Mel England and Diane Anderson-Minshall. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Well, if you don't mind, I want to start with Mel just a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry, just having like
Oh,
conversation.
are we all good?
You're not like, hey, we're not doing anything yet. I'm waiting for this to catch up to make
Okay.
sure we got everything framed up nice.
All right. Well, we'll make sure that we're happy.
Ah, there you are.
Yeah.
Good, so we're all in the picture. See that?
I am in.
Wonderful. That's you. That's me standing here still.
Excuse my coughing. I've had bronchitis for 6
Oh,
weeks
no.
now. Fractured a rib and everything.
You know what? Jay did that.
That's what he told me.
Oh my God.
I did what?
Fractured
She
a
also
rib.
fractured a rib.
Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It's fine.
What, they called his whooping cough though.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It was scary.
I mean, mine just like I was moving.
I
my
like
furniture
that
around.
Jay's standing right in front of the camera since we're live and everything's
I'm
being.
not in front of the camera. You can't see me.
That's delayed
That's
a little bit.
delayed. Since the camera's right there, I think you might be. I love it.
Like my shirt.
I do. It's WatchHollywood.tv. It's a WatchHollywood.tv shirt. See, there you go, Jay. There you are.
There.
Uh,
My back looks good, huh?
It does.
I've been
It's very
working out.
sexy.
wow.
It's extremely sexy.
I took care of
Well, I haven't even worked out in forever. Whoa.
There you go.
That's it.
I'm so
Now,
good at
there
that
you go.
anymore. I'm not so good at that anymore like I used to be.
Twirling. I've
Yeah,
seen
I
you
was trying to
twirl.
tell him.
I've
Since
seen you twirl.
we don't have T-shirts for him for tomorrow. We have T-shirts for everybody, for all of us, but we don't have one for Jay or Jake. So they have to wear a light blue shirt. But I was like, or you could go topless.
Yeah, no.
Jay's like, no, I haven't been to the gym.
I tried to find some topless boys, but one of them, Justin wouldn't do it. He was like, Justin, do
Why
something.
not?
No, the walkers all have to wear the T-shirts.
He's shy. He's really shy about stuff like that.
Yeah, no.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. Well, you know.
We need to pimp out the T-shirts. They say plus and got the
I
blue
love it.
thing. Yeah,
I'm so
they're
excited.
cute.
Yay.
Why do we have to wear light blue?
They match the T-shirts because we're all matching Mel's
You
cover.
guys are gonna talk about that.
Yeah, no, my colors normally would be red, white, and black. So,
Mine would be blush and bashful.
oh, thank
Black
you.
and bashful?
Still
Blush
magnolia.
and
Yes,
bashful.
that's what I always
Oh.
say. Those are my two favorite shades of pink.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Actually, mine is purple, grape, or aubergine. They okay about that option?
But yeah, all the blue, it's all to match Mel's cover.
Oh, okay.
Aww.
Mhm.
Oh,
Even though we
then-
can't actually hand out
That's
magazines
true,
while
Because
we're
I
there.
noticed now
I
the
wanna wear
logo
that
is
shirt
to go
you had.
sort of a red color.
It's
So-
normally red.
Oh, it's
I mean,
normally-
I use red.
So you just
Red,
did
white,
the blue
black.
because of the
Matched
color of the
you.
shirt and the back. Got it.
Yeah, I mean, we change it,
Aw,
but
nice.
I want to wear that shirt you had on. Was that your shirt?
The Superman shirt?
Yeah.
I do have it.
Can I wear it?
Sure.
is it light blue?
It's on the cover.
It's like blue.
It's the
Oh.
cover.
But it might be a little, I mean, because you've got a long body, Jay. It might be a little.
A little
it might
midriff,
come-
and a little
Yeah,
belly
maybe.
button. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it'd be midriff, so that'd be cute.
I'll be sitting there, everybody can see
Oh, that's
me.
true.
Everybody gonna see me.
Thank you so much for doing that.
Yes,
That's
thank
really
you all,
amazing.
like for
Good.
coming
Well,
and
I'm
doing
so
this.
glad that you gotten such good feedback from it.
Oh my God, I've gotten letters, and I mean,
Should be now.
it's been, like I said, it's been emotional. Actually,
Mhm.
It's been crazy.
That's the best when it is, you know, when it really touches people. And we've gotten really good feedback from it too.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay, guys, we're ready to start. All right, wonderful. Excellent. Okay. In 3, 2, 1, action.
Hi, welcome back to WatchTV.com. I'm Kassi Crews, and I have the great pleasure to have Mel England, the star of Best Day Ever, and Diane Anderson-Minshall, the editor-in-chief of Plus Magazine. I hope I'm saying your name correctly.
Anderson-Minshall.
Anderson-Minshall. So excuse me for that. I apologize. Thank you so much. I wanted to ask you, if you have some really fascinating stories that I want to make sure we talk about today, but the one that I want to start with, can you talk about the Best Day Ever? Because of course, the first 5 callers or chatters, they basically get the DVD for free and a t-shirt for free and so many other goodies that you're going to get. So make sure you engage with us. That's a gift from your production company that's happening for Watch TV viewers. Also, you have a release, a Blu-ray release coming out on July 7th through Radioactive Cactus. Is that correct?
Right, that's the production company.
And Amazon.
Yeah.
And there's another.
I think it's also available on TLA. I think it's available on Wolf Video, which is a big distributor for
LGBT media. So get it on Wolf, please.
Yeah. So it's been really nice rollout for the film.
A lot of places to get it, so please make sure you see it. But this is really the first film that deals with a gay midlife crisis. Would you say that would be the log line for this film?
Totally.
And I've seen it. It's a wonderful film, and it's wonderfully done. And Mel's fantastic in it.
Thank you.
Could you speak about that a little bit? And then I want to get into some deeper things.
Okay.
After that.
Well, we made the film, I guess, about 1.5 years ago. And that, Jeff London, I auditioned for Jeff, and then he cast me, and I was a little, overwhelmed, just because of the nature of the subject matter. But I really related, and I related it in a very interesting way. Not so much because I was literally necessarily going through my own kind of midlife crisis, but because of what had happened in my own personal life with me dealing with AIDS, HIV at such a young age. I just automatically understood what it was like to go through a crisis. And so I had this kind of deep connection with this man who is going through this moment of like, what's life all about? Career issues, money issues, have I made my mark? All of those things, and then love life problems. What am I going to do? And so it was a really powerful experience to do that, and to see. I think that was one of the things that became evident right away in discussing the movie with Jeff, was just this idea. We were even talking about it in the green room of how far the gay community has come. And this kind of privilege that we have now to even have these problems, like that this guy could even have a midlife crisis, because a generation before, all the midlife, we were even talking about how, the last film to kind of deal with gay men going through a midlife crisis was something like Longtime Companion, where they were dealing with everybody dying from AIDS. So it was like, all of a sudden we get to be old, we get to be married. Like, what's that about? So, eventually this guy meets somebody, and so you're like, you hope that they can connect. But it was a really interesting journey, just as a gay man and as a gay actor, to have the opportunity to discuss these things, because we've been so busy fighting for equal rights and for gay marriage and for the right to live, that to kind of just get to be normal is almost like a kind of a culture shock in a weird way.
And as an HIV positive actor yourself, like these are sort of probably the same things.
It's all
Yeah.
in there. Yeah.
Well,
totally.
I think the thing that's most interesting, I mean, really two things. I mean, obviously this is WatchHollywood.tv. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate that. We're with Mel England and Diane Anderson-Minshall. I wanted to talk about, though, what you have two really important things, that you're HIV positive, and I believe, Diane, that you had a great article in Plus Magazine about this very specific issue.
Yes.
And it was very deep. I want to make sure we talk about that, but I want to say one thing before we get into that, because that's a subject that we're going to lead right into next, is really because of the way the culture is now and the openness, and you're able to be who you are without the shame and without the persecution. Maybe still, I'm sure you still have that, but not as much, that you're able to experience life like all of the other people with the real things, with real issues, like you're talking about the midlife crisis,
Right.
or being married, or having a partnership, or what's it like to die, or what's it like to live with somebody. You know, all those things are being able to come to light. And one of them is really about the HIV positive issue and how HIV addresses, you know, the family, you as a person, the public. And I'd like you guys to talk about that, like in tandem, if you don't mind, because I'd like you to talk about the article that Mel did with you and your magazine a little bit, if you don't mind.
Sure.
That would be really fascinating for me.
Yeah, well, one of the things that piqued me, what you were talking about, is certainly the gay community and the LGBT community overall, to a little bit lesser extent for trans people, but the gay community in particular has gotten to this point where where there is a great deal more acceptance, where there's more people in the country who support same-sex marriages than anything else, who support our right to have employment discrimination clauses and things like that. And so, so you talked about lowering the shame of being gay, lowering the stigma, but what's really interesting is there's still a great deal of stigma with being HIV positive. And one thing at the magazine is that generally what we do is on the cover, we're like any other magazine, we like celebrities on the cover, and we like that because
The celebrities on the cover.
the celebrity on the cover, and we like that like every other magazine. We're a health magazine, and I always think of it as the cherry in the cough syrup. You pick up the great hunky celebrity on the cover and make sure you read the good healthy information inside.
Well, it's
So,
very scary about HIV positive, and a lot of people, I think it's the not understanding or having the knowledge, and that's probably what you're peeling away.
Yes, absolutely. And we want to remove the stigma of being HIV positive. But I will tell you, when you're a performer, there's still a great deal of stigma. There's a great deal of fear and a great deal of shame. We have a number of A-list celebrities we know are positive but are not willing to come out yet. Whenever we do have somebody who is willing to come out, it's a big deal. And so that is where Mel came in as both an out actor and somebody who's out as having HIV and living with HIV, and also somebody who has lived with HIV for a number of years, because we have, you know, in just a couple of years, the percentage of people with HIV who are over 50 is going to be the majority. And those are a lot of, there's a lot of gay men there who lived through, like I did, lived through the AIDS crisis, saw all of our friends dying, and now 20 years later have all these like great rights and these great lives, and raising, half of them have teenagers at home or babies at home, and they have spouses and 401ks and these things that we just never thought we'd have, you know? So it is kind of overwhelming to get to this point. But so that was part of some of the things that we were talking with Mel about, is about being just open enough to say, look, there shouldn't be stigma around having HIV. It's a health condition. It's a chronic, manageable health condition.
Right.
You don't feel shame if you have diabetes.
I mean,
You
know,
shouldn't feel shame if you have HIV.
no, absolutely not. But it also took me 20 plus years to get to the point where I would have been capable or ready to be public and out about it. Not that you know, it's funny, now it's changed so much. It is a very manageable disease. But when I was first diagnosed when I was 19 years old, way back in the, you know, last millennium.
Well, did it feel like a death sentence then?
Well, no, that's actually what the doctors, the media, the government, my family, everybody thought I was going to be dead in 6 months.
Okay.
I had to do a lot of my own work,
Right.
which included, you know, like spiritual work. And I talk about this in the magazine. I heard Deepak Chopra on the radio saying, I was smart and lucky, and
What is the AZT?
well, that
Explain
was just one of the drugs that at the time they were using, which actually is now used in antiretroviral.
Well, it's an antiretroviral, but it's generally not used as much now because it's ineffective. Right. But in the very beginning, it was the only thing that that had been approved for use that they thought worked. Unfortunately, it killed a lot of people.
They would throw people onto it, and it's funny. It's one of the reasons why, like, I'm going to march in the parade. I'm happy to be marching.
You are marching. You're going to talk about the marching.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. He says he's marching.
Well,
he's
not
actually sitting in the top of a convertible, doing the princess wave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, people march around us.
But I just want to say, like, I am so.
This is the Gay Pride.
We're going to be
That's
in the
happening
parade
tomorrow.
Yeah.
What time is that?
Well, I think it kicks off at 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
So, but it goes for several hours. We're
What
towards
street?
the tail.
Is it on Santa Monica? Is it closed down?
Santa Monica, yeah.
Santa Monica,
yeah,
that
West
nice
Hollywood.
strip. Okay.
Yeah.
And
But-
make sure that you know that we're watching Hollywood.tv and call in and check in with us. And hey, we're ready to give T-shirts and DVDs away and pick up where you left off.
No, I was
on
just going to
HMV.
say that's one of the reasons why I'm doing that, and also doing the covers, because I saw so many of my friends die, and I
that
was
must have
just
been
thinking of my
devastating
friend
for
Derek,
you.
who actually Derek now would probably be a trans person, you know, but Derek was would also go by Diane, interestingly.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting because almost right away when he got diagnosed, I was about 20 at the time, went right on the AZT, and he was dead in like 6 months. And it's just like, and I love anyway, there's so many stories, and
we all,
so
but
many
we all
people.
have plenty of friends who didn't go on AZT,
Right.
who are dead right away too.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not,
I mean,
and
that's the
you know,
thing.
it's you know, I was very lucky, but I guess the thing is that I just want to say that I am so appreciative of what Diane and the people at Plus and Here Media are doing, because it is kind of, I am the oddball in Hollywood and in show business, and I feel like there is the cellular claw issue.
Yeah.
There used to be one around being gay. And so the more of us that come out, you know, I did, as you know, Ron and Laura Take Back America with the incredible Jim J. Bullock,
Hilarious, by the
who
way.
maybe Jim J. Bullock can do something with. But Jim was one of the first actors to come out openly as Paz. I don't know if that was even because he wanted to at the time, but it did happen. And there's just a handful of people that are out. And the reason I do it is not to get more attention for myself. It's not really about, I mean, look, I'm an actor. I'd be happy to just be private and be, but there's something about using that platform to help spread a message that says, let's not have stigma. This is just a regular thing. Everybody should get to live and be happy. And why can't you be an out positive actor? Why can't the next 20-year-old kid that's out, that's positive, why can't he be out and be an actor? Just like anything else. So I feel like,
or like any other profession.
yeah,
Actor
I mean,
or
if
any other
Angelina
profession.
Jolie can come out that she had her, you know, like she had, she was concerned and had to have a mastectomy.
Reconstruction.
I mean, it's just ending the stigma, and the stigma is so important for not only the gay community, but it goes into all sorts of, it's like, there's in the African American community, in the Latino community, and so many
especially
communities.
among transgender women, they have the highest rates of HIV.
Really? Why is that?
Well, because generally trans women have, there's a higher percentage of trans women who've been forced into street economy because the unemployment is sky high for trans folks. And so they've been forced into sex work sometimes. And then there's the lowest number of resources for trans women. So particularly among trans women of color, African-American trans women, 59% have HIV.
Wow.
So that's
And then there's just the
we're
stigma.
talking alarming numbers.
And the stigma in the communities that are, sometimes it's the church, sometimes it's just family, so it's just like, let's open it up and let's talk about it. There's nothing to be afraid
For
of.
my thing, I'm doing media, over 20 years. And I remember in the very beginning, coming out interviews have always been my specialty. I like to talk with people ready to just claim their lives, right? And, but I remember in the very beginning, you would know somebody was gay or lesbian or bisexual, but they wouldn't ask it. You weren't supposed to ask it. And there was this presumption. And so we know all through history, people, the media all knew Rock Hudson was gay long before and stuff like that. So I feel like we're there with HIV right now. And I see this even when I have college interns come through and work for me, and I say, just ask about HIV. Ask, and they're afraid to ask, have you ever had an HIV test? They're fat when they're doing interviews. How basic is that?
Right.
And they don't want to offend them. And I just think we've got to get over that. That's a basic question. When was your first HIV test? When was the first time you knew somebody with HIV? That's not even directly saying, do you have HIV?
Right.
It's just talking about it. So I think that we're there with the media, where the media is still very much afraid to ask these questions that we really should be asking. And at the same time, the percentage of ignorance around HIV now 30 years after the first deaths is still alarming. So we still, the rates of people who still believe you can get HIV from a swimming pool or from sharing a utensil or water cup.
I'm so glad that you brought that up, because as I'm sitting here, I'm probably one of those ignorant people as well, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't really, you hear so many different things and you don't necessarily know what the truth is. And you've done so much research. It would be great if you want to talk about that. I think too, you said something that you were one of the lucky ones, and I'm really glad that you're one of the lucky ones, because you're a fantastic person, and I know you personally as well, and you've done such great movies, and you're a fantastic actor, and I know that you felt like you've been given probably a couple times a second life, a second chance, and that second chance has given you that freedom to be who you truly are with what is real, and say what's real, and uncloak who you are as a person, and what your gift is, what you're supposed to share here. Because I think we're all supposed to share here, and at WatchHollywood.tv, we want to share with you these amazing people, this amazing information, and talk about subjects that really matter, to people that we're just all human beings. We're all just trying to make it here and trying to figure out our way. And I would say that, I would ask you a question. How do you contract that? When you ask that question, you don't want to, because you're almost afraid, if they do, then I don't know what to do next with you now, because I'm in a place.
There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear. Let me tell you. So I can touch Mel. I could kiss Mel. I could French kiss Mel. I could probably give Mel a blowjob, and I would not get HIV. So let's put it right out.
I want to do that right now.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, kidding.
No, but that is part of it. Is actually
So you
all
would
of those
not.
things.
All those things.
All those things are safe. None of those things are going to give me HIV. To get HIV, and HIV is actually quite hard to get.
Really, because they make it act.
People believe
it's so easy. From
you are much more likely to get hepatitis C, for example. There's a number of things. It's not as highly infectious like the flu or anything like that. You cannot get it from saliva. I cannot spit on you and give you HIV.
Really?
Even actually, interestingly, people don't. Well, maybe you would know more about this now, because I remember all the fear and hysteria around it. But even blood, if I cut myself, it's gonna die in the air.
So basically,
so if you cut yourself, I have a cut and I touch you.
Well, no,
I need blood to blood.
If I cut myself, it's that blood is gonna hit
it's
the
not
air.
It's not that HIV blood is out there infecting.
And then if it's dry blood and stuff, you can't.
No.
Right.
So it's blood-to-blood contact, or blood to semen, or vaginal fluids.
Right.
Those are really the primary things. Generally, you're much less likely if you're the insertive partner having sex. You're much less likely to get HIV. Though you still can.
Okay.
meaning women are much more at risk than men in a heterosexual situation.
And that's a big problem, actually, because even now, even 10 or 15 years later, I mean, it was a big problem 15 or 20 years ago where women didn't understand that they were more at risk. You know,
Then,
yeah, but it's funny because people still don't get it. But whatever. Anyway, that's why we're talking
well,
about
no, but that's why we're having a dialogue, because I do think you're totally 100% right. I think there's so much fear wrapped around it. I think that, you know, you were given those extra lives, and I want you to talk about that a little bit more too, but to share this information with so many people, because as we pull the curtain back to see who we truly are as people and what we really.
I almost died in 98, and you know, I had full-blown AIDS at that point. I had been very lucky, and then I stopped being lucky, and it was time. And thank God they had the new drugs out. And you know, but between that experience and then I got sober, and sort of my whole life changed. And you know, it's funny because in the getting sober thing, you sort of learn to tell your story. And then I, you know,
You learn to not be ashamed anymore.
Yeah, but it's just like
Question from the audience.
So, oh, we have a question.
We have a question from the audience.
Okay,
We want to know
well,
that
would be
question.
big.
Hi.
Hi, I do have a question. In hearing what you said, and I remember in the 80s when we had the outbreak with HIV, and it was really devastating. But my question to you, in terms of percentage, in terms of a lesbian relationship, what is the percentage of one contracting
HIV from the other?
Yeah. And how does that work since it's
It can happen. It is extremely unlikely if you are both lesbian women who have never had sex with men, have never used injection drugs. So it's much less likely in those situations. So if you're monogamous, you've been you've both been tested, and 6 months ago, 3 months ago, and then you're completely monogamous, it's very unlikely that anybody could transmit anything. The CDC just had what they called last year the first case of woman-to-woman HIV transmission, in which one woman was HIV positive, and they used sex toys. They exchanged sex toys without using condoms or cleaning the sex toys in between women, and they had very rigorous sex, which means that there was blood. So there was blood and vaginal fluid, and they believe that's what the transmission was. Now, mind you, that's the only confirmed case. We have plenty of lesbians living with HIV at this point, but most of them, acquired that HIV not through other women who had been lesbians.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Makes a lot of sense. Thank you for.
I kind of like to say lesbians, we're the safest.
Right.
But
And the good news is that because it's so easy to get on talking about the medical stuff or on the sex stuff, and then to think that the community in a weird way is defined by the sex or the medical stuff or the death or the fear of death and all of that. And the reality is there's a whole world of positive people that are out living their life world, every single day, going shopping, having kids, going to school, being in careers. And I think that's part of what's so great about what Plus Magazine is doing, is celebrating life. I'm actually working on a project now I've got in development with actually Carlton Wellborn.
Oh, okay.
And a young pause actor. He was actually born with HIV, and his name is Joseph Kibler.
Okay.
And he did a documentary called Walk On.
Brilliant.
Really
really great.
Joseph and I are in and Sherry Lewis, we want to have her, but it's going to be all pause actors and working in kind of like an GMHC or APLA kind of clinic environment, and just telling all these stories, because really, it's time for us to talk about survival and just living. And in a weird way, like Best Day Ever. the problem is like then you have to survive, and like what a luxury problem that is. But now we get to worry about like 401ks and what nursery do I send my kid to, and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
all that good stuff. I want to thank both of you. I want to ask you one other quick question. I know you starred in Ron and Laura Take Back America. Hilarious movie. You got to check that out as well. So when are we going to get to see that, Mel?
That should be coming out in the fall. We don't have the exactest premiere dates yet. We just got back from another film festival. We've been on the circuit with that.
Won a ton of awards.
Yeah, we've gotten like 16 nominations and awards, so it's been really exciting. It's been a really exciting time. I just have here at Watch Hollywood TV. I have to thank Diane. I have to thank you, Kassi, because you've actually helped me with so many things. I have been so lucky because of the angels that have surrounded me, and it would not have been possible without so many people that have helped. I feel like I'm the luckiest man on earth.
Thank you so much, Mel. Thank you so much, Diane.
Thank you.
Up next is I have no idea what I'm saying right now.
We'll
How do
just
you like
stay.
that?
What are we doing
We're
next?
staying here.
We'll stay for
But
a while.
next up is Andy Sacher, and he's the founder of the Lavender Effect.
Yay, Andy. We love
Andy's
Andy.
coming on next.
Yeah.
So thank you so
He's
much,
awesome.
Diane. Thank you so much, Mel.
Thank you.
Fantastic with Plus Magazine. Fantastic with your 2 movies coming out.
Thank
Thank
you.
We'll be right back at watchhollywood.tv. Also, visit us at printmen.net for all of your printing needs. So make sure that you visit us at printmen.net for all your printing needs.
Yay.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Absolutely.
you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for this.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Yay. Good job, Kassi. It's always hard to do the hot seat. Thank you.
Especially when they don't know what I'm saying.
Okay. Thank you.
Good, great. Good.
Yay. Oh, yay.
Yeah. Okay. So
you
when
want
in
more
doubt.
water? You want some water or something?
Oh, we've.
May I sit here still since I?
You
May
will
I-
be sitting.
May I sit
Actually,
here?
Andy will be sitting there.
Great. Very careful,
hold on
Andy. Be
1
very
minute,
careful.
okay?
Yes,
Let me
we
set
will
this
hold
up.
on as many minutes as you need. We
There.
will do whatever you need.
No
And
problem.
I'm loving your little LA pride there.
Yes, I've been working the Pride Festival. That's how I had my little accident.
Okay, Andy, I think you can sit now. Yeah.
Should I sit here, darling? Yet or you? Okay.
Oh, and when in doubt with the name,
Yeah.
Watch Hollywood or whatever, it's back there.
Do you want this? on?
Yeah, I just, no,
It's
You want
it
this?
just was not in my, it was not
No,
coming
that's
out
it.
of my mouth correctly. I told you.
Whatever.
I see it. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Okay, so that's good. Let's get you guys.
Are we happy with me here?
Yeah, guys, let me see what that looks like on camera. Alright, so we'll tie down.
So how long are we gonna talk?
You're
Not
about
quite sure.
20 minutes.
About
All
20
interviews
20
are
minutes, okay.
roughly about 20 minutes.
20 minutes, you'll give me my
That's the
wrap
time.
up. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
we'll just cue you in on when we got it wrapped. All right.
Let's see how I look. We always have to.
All
look
right.
good, don't we?
Good.
We always have to- Thank you so much.
Let's see what the web
Awesome,
says.
thank you.
It's warm in there.
Yeah.
Do you want one of the fans?
Basically,
Nice and toasty.
Yeah, he is.
Do you want one of the fans?
We can't. The fan makes too much noise. All right. I'm sorry, say again?
The chat is asking for signing, so I'm not receiving.
Oh, someone's asking for a sign in?
Oh, yes, please, we want that. Did we give our t-shirts
see
and
them.
DVDs away yet?
I mean, I don't know if you're logging.
I love.
Oh, yeah, we're
doing
locked
this
in, we're
in
good.
such
We're
a
just
tiny
waiting,
little
right?
space in the middle of Hollywood.
Let me see what they look like on this.
We're big. We're watchhollywood.tv.
Right, I totally think it's groovy.
Let's see what we have here. Okay, she just gave me the water. It's a little delay, but just need to make sure we're all queued up on. Maybe just drink that.
You need anything?
Pride is
All right. I think
The
we're
pride is here.
good. So we're good here? Great. I'll eat and stuff afterwards.
I feel like I see
Good.
that I have this little hair
So I guess
that I see on the TV.
Oh, that's annoying, right?
for everybody here.
And everybody gets to see us and hear us. It's exciting.
It
So,
is exciting.
It's exciting. to be
Whether you
live.
have hairs going there or not.
Exactly. It's like, oh, stick up.
Yeah. We were just talking out there about how this is democratized information. I mean, the fact
Did you
that
guys
we're doing
get
this.
to? Did you get to watch everything that we were talking about?
Very little.
Oh, okay.
Did you talk about that?
We talked about HIV positive quite a bit because
Okay.
that was really
That was what the show was about.
Well, I don't know about that, but that was the most fascinating, part of what Mel's
Yeah.
magazine article was about with Plus Magazine, and that's a very hot topic.
Oh, it's a big topic
That's
right now.
It's a
It's a big
big
topic,
issue.
and it's not necessarily.
It's not an easy topic to talk about. It's because it's got a lot of emotional fear and
in history and
all of this,
politics. Yeah.
all the stuff that comes with that. That's hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mel's been doing this work for such a long time. He is such an inspiration to me. I see his using his abilities as an actor, as a very good actor,
Yeah.
but also as an authentic person.
I was going to say
Right.
the same thing.
And-
Yeah.
And he gets it. He gets it, and he sees the big picture. So the fact that I met him and all that we saw together was, how can we change the world? We got along just fine.
Oh yeah. Well, because you're doing the same kind of thing, so that's what we're going to get to talk about.
From a different perspective,
Yeah,
from a
but
different angle, from the skills that I've developed.
But that's
over
what we're
the
going to
years.
get to talk about because
Yeah.
that's going to be the exciting part, right? You have such a beautiful face, and your eyes are just beaming.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's see.
Thank you so much.
Okay, you can just rehearse that real quick.
Okay, welcome back to WatchHollywood.tv and the 5th episode of the Internet's Talk Show. I'm Kassi Crews, with the founder of The Lavender Effect.
All right. Good.
Hi.
All right, we're gonna go live, or we are live.
We are
Just
live
gonna stop
already.
Recording.
We are live already.
So everything you guys just said, this camera is continuously streaming, and camera stops even when this camera stops.
Yep.
Everything that is
We
said
liked everything that we said.
is being
We
heard.
did.
We enjoyed our conversation, and we will continue.
Thank you for having me on.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm very grateful for you being on. And as soon as he tells me to go, I'm gonna really launch into all of our fun,
Good.
all of the
How
real
we got?
depth of
About
everything.
26 minutes on
Good.
that.
Getting into the real deep interview.
Yeah. We like going deep.
Wait a second. I wanted to do that. I had to, Andy. Sorry. We were. Are you going to be in the parade tomorrow?
I'm going to be with our float. We have a float of LA's pioneers.
Oh, you
I
do?
brought my list if we want to talk about that.
Yes, we'll talk about that. Make sure you get that ready and get that out because we want to talk about your float.
All right.
And the Lavender Effect is having a float. Is that correct?
And CSW.
And
We
CSW.
work
So
with
you're
CSW.
okay. So you're going to make sure that you have a conversation about that.
Sure.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah. Are you?
Lights. Cameras rolling. Action.
Welcome back to WatchHollywood.tv and the 5th episode of the Internet's Talk Show. I'm Kassi Crews, and with me is Andy Sacher, the founder of The Lavender Effect. You're actually the creative director and the founder of The Lavender Effect, correct?
Yes.
You probably have more titles than that and do many more things.
I would just classify me as the chief enthusiast
Okay.
or evangelist.
Evangelist. Well, let's spin right off onto that. Tell us about what is the Lavender Effect.
Sure.
In depth, I want to know.
Sure. So, we are advancing the future of LGBT history, culture, and heritage. And that's kind of a tagline to summarize basically a movement that celebrates and teaches LGBTQ history and culture, and how we got to this point, how to celebrate who we are as a people, and how to forecast our trajectory as a community of the future. So we want to make sure that we document everything about our culture that we can possibly document and pass that forward to future generations.
Okay. That's a lot.
It is.
So can you explain to me exactly how you're doing that?
Sure.
Because
It's a big goal.
that's a huge goal, and it encompasses so many different areas
Yeah.
actually that you're trying to pass on. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously that's like the, Italian, you know what I mean? Tell me about it. Tell me how you're doing that.
Well, we're doing it now through an oral history project, which basically is a way of saying that we're videotaping pioneers in the LGBT community that somehow helped us get here. These people have tremendous wisdom, and they understand the context of the times and why we had to fight the way we fought. Everybody's celebrating LGBT culture right now, but they don't really have perspective as to how we got here. So these oral histories interview our elders, basically, and document their perception of what that history is from their perspective. And believe me,
And their change, I mean, because it had to have been, if you're talking about your elders, it had to be different then the way it is now. So they're talking about how they're seeing the shift
very, very
in
different.
the culture.
Oh yeah. So they're also describing why they had to fight the way they fought.
Because they're the fighters. They were on the
Right.
front line.
Definitely. And some of them are literally the survivors of an era. You were talking about AIDS and HIV.
Right.
Well, there's a whole community of people that survived that epidemic, that fought that battle, and that, for all intents and purposes, changed history and the medical profession. So we're documenting them as well in a project that we call Young City at War, which is the stories from West Hollywood about AIDS and HIV from ground zero. So that's one of the oral histories.
So you're dealing with that subject
Mhm.
pretty intensely as well.
It's
It's not one of many of the stories.
That's one content thread in the many stories that we have to tell.
Right. Well, because that's riddled within that and what that means to
Right.
that community.
But like you were saying, it's a really important story. So we want to make sure that we capture those pivotal moments in our history. And AIDS, HIV was one of them. I personally was living in New York and in 1985, and I was sure that I was going to die.
Why?
Because I was gay. If you were gay, you
You were going to die.
you were, yeah, it was a death sentence. Everybody called it the gay cancer. And so many of us just assumed we were going to go. So
Wow.
that changes a people, that changes a culture, and it defines a culture. So what's critical now is how we document that real story, not from necessarily a narrative perspective, but from a human story. How do we document that and pass it forward?
How are people seeing your oral histories? What, you're recording them obviously, and then how are people actually able to view that?
Right. Well, the full interviews are about 2 hours, and we have written transcripts for those scholars that want to read or watch the whole thing. And then we're posting 5-minute segments online, kind of highlights of those great pioneer stories. And then we have 1-minute inspirational thoughts that are out there on the web. So we're trying to repurpose this content in a variety of ways to touch a lot of people out there. And it's working.
Where do they go to get on the internet to find you?
Sure. It's thelavendereffect.org. And you can see a list of our projects, one of which is the Oral History Project.
Oh,
And
wow.
we have all the pioneers listed,
Wow.
and they're fantastic people and just it's a little commitment, 5 minutes, and you learn all about that person.
Wow, that is amazing. And I wanted to remind you that you're watching Hollywood, WatchHollywood.tv. You're watching WatchHollywood.tv. It's so easy. You're watching WatchHollywood.tv. Make sure to please call or chat. And don't forget that we're giving away t-shirts and DVDs, and interact with me. If you guys have some questions out there about these really cool topics that we're talking about, will you please call in and let me know what you're thinking? I want to hear from you. We want to hear from you. Andy wants to hear from you. He wants to answer questions from you guys. Come on. Let us know what you're thinking. Tell us what issues you're having too, because this might be touching you, and we hope that it is. We're wanting to make sure that you know that we're giving away t-shirts and DVDs of Best Day Ever and WatchHollywood.tv. Beautiful t-shirts. So what I wanted to ask you was, how are you funding this? How are you making this happen?
Right. Well, we received a couple grants, one from Wells Fargo and one from the city of West Hollywood to fund the Oral History Project. And then we're getting funds from the city of LA to some extent. But ultimately, we're going to build a big campaign to raise more money. We've done a few of the online Indiegogo campaigns, and then they went fairly well. But now that people are starting to get to know us, we have a bigger name, and we can ask them to participate as a member of the movement. So we're defining a role, a membership role right now. So you can either donate on our donate tab, or you can try to get involved. If you have some skill as a board member, as an advisor to our organization, we have open call for that. So what's fascinating about doing this work is there's a lot of people that know a lot about our history.
Right.
The archives here in Southern California are incredible. The One Archives, I think they're the largest gay and lesbian archive in the world. There's the Mazer Lesbian Archives here, which has an amazing collection from a woman's perspective, from the feminist perspective. There's the Outfest Legacy Project. There are a lot of private collections that haven't been consolidated. So we'd like to put all of these ultimately accessible and readily available to people in a heritage center. So that's our ultimate goal. We're documenting people using Steven Spielberg Showa Foundation standards for video history. I used to work for Mr. Spielberg in the mid-90s, and I saw Showa form from nothing.
Yeah.
And he documented, 52,000 Holocaust survivors.
Right.
And at that point, I'm thinking we should have a gay version of this.
And that is how this developed, is from that
That was just
or just a little seed?
That was a moment in the mid-90s when I was I was also working for Walt Disney Imagineering, designing theme park educational theme park attractions, and I couldn't be out at work in the mid-90s at Disney. And so we formed a little organization that was like the first queer union at Disney in the mid.
Okay.
But we were under the radar, and we marched in the parade many years ago. What is it now? 20 years ago.
20 years ago now.
And this year for Gay Pride, Disney is putting out a huge float that's like sponsored by the company. So
A lot of changes.
a lot of change in 20 years.
A lot of shifts that you're seeing and acceptance.
Yeah.
And so talking about the parade, you're going to be in the parade, or your float's going to be in the parade. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, the Lavender Effect has partnered with Christopher Street West, which is the organization that,
Hello, we are rocking.
was
Someone's
awesome.
rocking
Who was that?
here at WatchHollywood.tv. We rock out all the time, and we were rocking to Andy talking about the parade.
Yeah, so at the parade, we're going to have 8 amazing pioneers that are on this float. We've partnered with Christopher Street West, which puts on LA Pride every year, and this is their 45th anniversary. So pioneers are going to be on the float and connect with the audience that some of them don't know they even exist. And
What do you mean by that?
Well, the contexts have changed. With our liberation, we're losing sight of why we had to fight so hard to get where we're at now.
Okay, like with everything, once you get it, then you forget what you had to go through to get it, or those next generations don't understand that. But that's what you're trying to preserve, to actually hold on to, like, this is the way that was, and also have that appreciation to be able to move forward, right?
Yeah.
And to keep that shift going and to keep that change happening.
Yeah, when I was a boy studying for my bar mitzvah, my parents told me that I need to know the Holocaust. And I thought, wow.
Passing on the history.
Yeah.
And that's what you're doing with the lavender.
Right. So the point is that we have to teach our future generations. Many of us don't have family units that are structured to pass on that baton of wisdom.
Kind of lost that lately.
Right.
That's kind of sad for all of us. Let's
Right.
have that back.
So yeah, we agree 100%.
But that's what you're doing with the Lavender Effect. You're trying to build that community, that family back, getting the information so you can share.
Build that sense of family. Community is misused. Community is such a nebulous term. And we have so many sub-communities of our community because of our diversity.
Yeah.
If I've learned anything over the last 6 years of doing this research, is that you cannot tell history from one perspective, right?
Especially because it's very skewed. It'll be very skewed because people in that particular thing think that they're 100% right. But if you look at all of it, there's truth in everything.
There's truth in everything.
That much bigger viewpoint and a much more you have such a better appreciation and understanding if you can look at all sides.
Yeah.
Because it's never one side on anything.
Never one side.
We're not all the same.
Right.
We're all different, but that actually is what that whole rainbow and the beauty and all the colors.
Yeah. And so we want to empower, the Lavender Effect wants to empower those communities to tell their own stories, right? In 2008, I worked with a bunch of young activists in an organization called Roots of Equality. This was a brilliant young group of 20-somethings that wanted to tell history, and I mentored them through the exhibit design process, and I transformed through the process.
Well, we all do, don't we,
Right.
when we share?
When we share,
And then you're able to, share with me,
right,
and I share with you,
Right.
then we actually
right. So
have a better way of being.
and we're sharing today.
Yeah.
So
And we're sharing with you at WatchHollywood.tv, and we would like for you to share with us because we want your information, your history, your questions, because it can only empower us all the more that we communicate. And that's really what you're doing. You're communicating and sharing other people's communication.
yeah, just opening up. There was we had the movie Making Love. We had an event where we featured this movie, and it was one of the first movies that ever told the public or forecast that we could fall in love, that gay people could fall in love, because up to that point we were just villainized. So Making Love was a movie that kind of changed the way gays are portrayed.
Because gay people have feelings,
Yeah,
right?
just a bit.
They're still just.
They're flesh and blood. We are flesh and blood.
Hello. Finish telling me, sorry.
So anyway, people sent hundreds of letters to the filmmakers, and they were saying things like, "You changed my life. I didn't know that there were other people like me out there." Right? The communication, because we were villainized, the communication lines were severed.
that's the key. It's communication, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's one person to another person, but it's all that, it's that ripple effect.
Yeah.
And I'm really fascinated and I'm grateful that you're doing the Lavender Effect, because you're able to share with people the history and the background and really connect people. Because when you communicate and have all that, you really are able to connect people. And we're really connecting with you at WatchHollywood.tv. We are wanting to reach out to you, and we want you to reach back out to us. And don't forget about our cool T-shirts and our DVD giveaways. And please call in and check us out on Twitter. And Andy, I want to thank you so much.
My pleasure.
For coming today and allowing us to share your information with other people about what you're doing. And please check out, say your website again.
TheLavenderEffect.org. That's the lavender with an E, effect.org.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. We'll be right back with Frank Moran.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you.
I enjoyed that. I hope it was good.
That was good.
I enjoyed that too. Fascinating. You're fascinating. Wow.
All right. I need a little everyone can watch that stuff as the
As we exit, I'm just going to throw away this trash.
Thank
that
you
I
so much
put
for
over here.
having me.
thank you for coming. We're trying to get you all at one time.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Oh, good job, Cassie.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right,
Appreciate it.
my pleasure.
So how many rows are,
Sorry?
how much time do we have for the next set?
Frank is getting in here right now. We've got like two more.
We're ready to begin.
You know what? I'm actually gonna go ahead and shut this now because I think I don't think anyone's gonna shut this.
No one's chatting today?
If they weren't,
They would have started,
already.
yeah.
Yeah.
So here you go.
I'm gonna leave it open anyway, just in case.
I'm gonna set this, where did you have this?
Off the set.
Yeah, you can take that aside.
Yeah.
I'll leave this right here. Okay. All right, Mr. Frank Moran. You can actually hang out here if you like to do like the back and stuff.
Huh?
You can actually hang out here.
Yeah, because I think I'm gonna go ahead and run on to work.
Okay, cool, nice.
Yeah.
You actually work today, huh?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm always working
That's good.
on something. I'm bored. I really like this. I enjoyed it. If you ever need me, please.
Absolutely. I will. Where's Frank? Frank Moran.
Nice meeting you. So nice meeting you. Thanks so much for your help. Thanks so much. I hope I get right by you.
Good. Actually,
I'm gonna run on to work.
No trash. No trash. Well, thank you so much. Oh, thanks. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Sorry I messed up the names for a second. It's like all. You're like, I don't even remember what I said, but we're trying to be in the zone.
and the startup is over there.
All right.
Yeah, that was my first time. I was like, what?
You were great. Frank, yep.
All right. All right. Which are we wishing? Steven.
Steven.
Nice to meet you.
All right. Frank, okay, good.
Yes.
Good. This is on a slight time delay here.
We look good, right, Stephen? Look at
We
us.
look great. I've
Yes.
never looked so good. Actually, I'm pleased. My vanity is.
That's right. We got our best sides. All right. Yeah, looking good.
Welcome back to WatchHollywood.tv, the internet starter celebrating gay pride on the 5th episode for
Words to that effect.
arranged.
Yeah.
In whatever form.
We're still trying to get Louise a date, so hit us up here.
Can I ask you to just flash these two t-shirts?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, just say, okay, if you guys
Sounds
log in
like
and chat or call in, you'll get a free t-shirt. Did Mel bring in a water, actually? Did Mel bring
We're not getting off the air until we find Louise Love. So.
Oh, yeah, marathon.
So settle in, folks. We'll
Get
be
your
here.
coffee.
It's gonna be an endurance test. Who can hold out longer?
Okay. Remember, you get a copy
yes.
of Best Day Ever.
You get a copy.
Boom,
You
boom,
get a
boom,
copy.
boom,
You get a copy.
and the t-shirt. All right.
Look at that.
So just let them know this stuff right here.
Absolutely.
You can open up this t-shirt.
Oh, unfurl it.
Yeah, and then just throw it to the audience or something. He'll catch it. He's like, hey, I want one. Okay. So yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
There's two. This should be the female one too. Oh yeah.
There you go.
Male.
Yeah.
Female.
Yeah, look at that.
You were.
We cover all bases here. Look at
There
that.
you go. All right.
Boom, boom. All right.
That has a more of a roughed up kind of look. I try to do
Distressed?
Yeah, distressed kind of look on
That.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to just flash those DVDs? I actually hold two of them.
You got it.
All right.
On Blu-ray and DVD.
All right.
And then just whip it at Louise.
Just throw them at Luis.
And then here.
We'll put this here. So remember, chat.
Yes.
They're watching it live. Get in chat. Ask a question or two. You want a free DVD and a T-shirt.
You want these.
Yeah.
You
The
Are people
number-
calling in? A lot of people. Are they? A lot of people chatting in?
Well, I have a lot of. They're not chatting. They're not interacting, but they're viewing.
That's
So I'm
great.
seeing the viewers. Yeah.
Nice.
They're just engaged with it. You know.
Yeah, come on. These
All right.
things,
Don't be afraid. We don't bite.
It's distressed.
Okay. Are we ready to?
Yes. Right. Let's do this.
Let me just get a quick Instagram shot of you guys.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Nice. Just that.
Okay, Frankie and Teddy's. At Akbar. When you said you guys.
Oh no. I do shows over like Iowa West. It's on Hollywood and Cahuenga. So it's like a club over there. So I do shows over there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Strictly improv.
Strictly
stand up.
Yeah, that's stand up. Always been interested in stand up, but it's like, oh boy, 5 minutes can be a long time before the red light comes on.
And also, you have no clue what your audience is. You know, like sometimes you like have the right audience.
Yeah, absolutely. That's I guess you can go and get my first knife learned here. All right, see how I do with that.
Are you familiar with their show? Frankie and Teddy's and Akbar?
No.
It's a good, like, yeah, check it out on Friday night.
Yeah, cool. Is that like a variety type show, or is it more of a
More stand up, some skit-ish things
Okay.
happening there, but more stand up.
have you performed with you? No.
I'll read a poem. The comedy crowd.
Or perhaps a humorous limerick? You can do that.
I don't do limericks.
No, no, just
I avoid a rhyme. I avoid a rhyme as much as I can.
We just changed it. So we've got 17 minutes left. I don't want to take a chance, and I don't want to interrupt.
All right.
So,
Should we pose for you, or you're good?
Oh, you guys are fine.
All right.
I'll ask you guys to pose later.
Oh, all right.
So thank you.
Start thinking about
Start
poses.
thinking.
Start thinking
All
about
right.
poses.
Great.
Angry, sad. So right now they can't see anything on.
it's live.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
I didn't know
streaming
what
live.
that was. Okay,
That streams live, and we record for editing and archiving here.
got it. All right.
So, yeah.
All those great.
So we do all the intro stuff for the camera here, but everything that's being said and done right now is being viewed live.
So now
You with the
everybody
women's T-shirt? They got
Yeah.
that?
Yeah,
That's right.
They got all that and
your feelings on limericks.
direction and
That's right.
Perfect.
Yeah, you can- that's right.
We're gonna
Now
find
they know.
out
Yeah.
how I feel about a limerick.
All those limerick lovers out there like, oh, forget Steven now, man. I was a fan, and now how he feels about limericks. Get it.
The limerick community is going to be so upset.
Well, I'm glad I'm gonna get a matching memo about
Yeah, good.
button down and the
Glad.
sports coat.
You've got the
Good.
good shoes.
Oh wow, look at those. Those are very nice.
Okay.
So the shoes here.
That's right. Look at that.
Yeah, I think you should get the shoe. Do you have a shoe shot?
Oh,
The shoe shot?
Oh yeah, that's our thing here. We like to,
we focus on those shoes.
We like to focus on shoes.
Should we just record the shoes?
That's really.
Hobby, hobby.
And just be like, oh, I guess they're talking about those shoes. Oh, look at them.
All right. Are we ready, guys? Are we all
Yes.
good to go here? Steven, we're good.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cameras rolling.
Love it.
And action.
Welcome back to the Internet's talk show, WatchHollywood.tv. This is episode 5, focusing on Gay Pride Month. Look at that, folks. Now, we want you to interact as well. So hop on WatchHollywood.tv, chat with us here. If you chat with us, look at the great things you can get right here. You can get a great T-shirt for women right here, distressed. Look at that. You can get also men. We're not men. You get a chance too. You get yourself a T-shirt as well. You can also get a copy of Best Day Ever. There, Jeff London's film, also starring Mel England, both in DVD right there, Blu-ray. This is coming out July 7th. You get it early. Look at that little advance. Impress all your friends with an early copy. Best Day Ever. All right, folks. Our next segment here, we're going to be talking to our poet, writer, artist, like that, Stephen Rains. Everybody. Stephen, welcome to WatchHollywood.tv.
Thanks for having me. Thanks.
So yes, a multi-talent right there.
I hope I have talent, but yeah, I do multiple things. I'm in hopes that I do them with talent. But yeah, one of my projects I'm currently working on is the Gay Rub.
Now, when I got the email saying, all right, here's just information about the guest. I mean, I see like the Gay Rub. I mean, certainly it's a very, I guess, like a salacious name with a lot of different meanings there. So it's, well, certainly when you read just the name itself, you're like, yeah, already you have a lot of things flying through your head. Was that a deliberate choice? Like I wanted to get in a very evocative sort of name?
Yes, it was definitely purposefully evocative. Rub, there are a lot of definitions and connotations to the word rub. It could mean social friction, for instance, like he got a lot of rub for that. It can also mean the truth, as in that's the rub. It also can mean, sexual friction, and it can also mean rubbings, which this is what it qualifies. This is the meaning. And so, yeah, it was purposeful. I feel like as queer people, we do experience a lot of social friction. I think that this project is documenting gay truth, and of course, there's an element of sexuality to being gay. So, yeah, it was. I love the title, and I love that it gets so much attention. It's memorable.
Yeah. So now, what came first? Was it the idea of doing this project, or like did that title, the name pop in your head? Like
No, the idea of the project. I actually live in West Hollywood, and about a mile and a half from my home is the first plaque for transgender victims of hate crimes. And I found out it was the first in the world, and that just stuck with me, and I kept thinking about it and thought about, is it the only one in the world? And what do the others look like? And how many plaques do we have, these public commemorative markers honoring, victims of hate crimes? What do they look like? And I thought just right away, like it would be interesting to do rubbings of them and then collect them all and show them at one point in time.
Now, the exhibit that you're showing now has about 100 or so rubbings here.
About 150 now.
150 now. Now, how much of those have you done personally, and how much it is that as people have learned about the project and gone out and done them themselves and sent them to you?
It is participatory. So I asked people to do that. And at first it was, when it was just a concept and it hadn't shown at universities or institutions, I was essentially just begging friends when they went on vacation. I'd be like, oh, you're going to Paris. Do you know it's there? And I would give them rubbing supplies and ask them to take time out of their honeymoon or their vacation to do a rubbing. And so that's how it started. But now I have people submitting rubbings who I'm not even familiar with. I had a friend ask his cousin to do a rubbing, and she did a great rubbing. So yeah, it's a lot of people that I'm not familiar with as well.
Now, for the art of rubbing, is there a technique, a best way to get the best results out of a rubbing? Because I'm thinking if you're asking friends that maybe have any experience with it, are you giving them a moment like, let me instruct you the best way to do a rubbing, you got to do it like this? Or is it pretty easy to do?
In terms of experience, though I had this idea of like doing rubbings, the last time I did a rubbing was in the 6th grade. So, the fact that I came up with this idea 5 years ago, it's over 25 years. It had been since I did a rubbing, but I remember the experience. There's something really tactile about it. And most of us in kindergarten, we did our first rubbings with leaves. I don't know if you had that exercise about getting a leaf and putting a piece of paper on top of it and getting a crayon. So people are familiar with rubbings. There were also those, remember those fashion plates as a child where you would put different plates down? Yeah. So I think that, our generation is familiar with rubbings in an odd way. And so people have some experience doing it. It's also very easy to do. The supplies, the materials are purposefully easy to access. So the fabric that I use, and I use fabric instead of paper because paper creases and it can tear easily. The fabric that I use is called Pelion or tearaway fabric that I get in large quantities. And then instead of using charcoal that people would normally use or graphite, I use wax. So basically I use crayons. And because it's easy for people to find a crayon anywhere, but to go to an art store, that's asking a lot.
Right. So now, certainly doing rubbings like we did in school with leaves or using the fashion plates, that's just like a fun experience. But doing something like this where you're going to these sites that, just have an emotional component to them as well. Friends that have gone out, or even yourself, when they've done it, have they come back to you and said they were like, oh, I'll do this rubbing for you, whatever. But then going and actually doing it, being there, taking part of this process, do they have a reaction to that?
Yeah, everyone has a story. Absolutely, everyone has a story when it comes to the rubbings. My friend Christy, she was doing a rubbing of James Dean's grave and ended up meeting James Dean's cousin who told her stories about what James was. My friend, she devotes rubbing weekends where she'll run around and do rubbings. Recently, there was a Frank O'Hara plaque, and she just did that and sent it to me. So yeah, it's really an adventure. Of these markers, we might know the intersection or the cemetery that someone lives in, that someone is, the plaque resides in, but not necessarily where it's located. So it's a hunt and a search. My friend Clement in San Francisco, there was a Adrienne Rich plaque that I really wanted, and it was an excerpt from one of her poems. And I kept telling Clement, I was like, you have to go, you have to do this. And he couldn't find it. He knew the intersection. He knew it was outside of a subway stop and was walking around for 20 minutes and then felt really defeated and he hung his head low and then saw the plaque on the ground right there.
That's awesome.
So everyone has a story, and it's also nice. It's a great way to honor before us. It's kind of meditative and to just kind of spend time with the plaque.
Now, for this, did you know about all these markers in these areas, or are people reaching out to you saying, oh, I'm from this area of the world and there happens to be something here, would you be interested in this?
Both. Primarily, though, it's been my research, which I did not expect. I thought people would have a lot of suggestions, but generally we don't think about public commemorative markers. It's something that we encounter on a walk, wherever we're walking, but we don't think about it in terms of a gay context. So people aren't necessarily deeply in touch with the gay markers that they have in their city that they live in.
Now, certainly you got like 150 rubbings right now. How has this project evolved from when you first initially conceived of the idea to now you're at 150? Has the project changed at all? Your perceptions of the project changed?
Has it changed?
Or is this pretty much what you envisioned from the start? Like, I can see this is going exactly the way I thought this was going.
I'm happy to say that it is exactly the way I wanted it to go. I wanted it to be I wanted exhibitions. I wanted the rubbings to be displayed all at once. And in doing so, you get to see who gets commemorated and who doesn't. And I do not like to edit the collection. So for instance, it's important to see that, like, wow, Tennessee Williams has a lot of rubbings. You know, what is it about Tennessee Williams that's safe for people to commemorate, where there are other people who are completely omitted because they don't have public markers? And so I think in doing so, to also tell something about our gay history.
Now, for the exhibit that you've gone to different colleges. I mean, in fact, you just wrapped up, you did Loyola Marymount, you did that.
Yeah.
You did Appalachian State or North Carolina. So it's like, especially Loyola Marymount, just being a Catholic school, saying, oh, we'd like to do this, you know, this exhibition of rubbings. What was that like?
Yeah, and then Boone, North Carolina. So what was it like? It was really touching to realize that these institutions understand the importance of this project and that they are willing to back it and support it and help connect their young students with it. So I loved being at both of those places, and that did surprise me, actually. It first debuted at the One Archives, their gallery space in West Hollywood, and that was amazing and magical. But each time it's been like, for instance, at a Catholic university, like, who would have thought, you know? But they were great, and the students asked wonderful, really thoughtful questions, and really, it's interactive. It's not something that you just walk past casually. There's a lot of text involved, and people were reading and very considerate of it.
Now, was this the case with the universities reaching out to you, or did you like, well, I'd like to try to get into different universities to showcase this, and you reached out to these various universities?
Both things are happening right now. Yeah, it's going to be at Webster University in St. Louis at the end of August, and I'm happy about that. That's because it's actually where I grew up, was St. Louis. So it's kind of nice about that I've gone back to St. Louis to do rubbings, and now those rubbings are going to be displayed at the university there.
Now, in addition to doing the rubbings, I mean, you're also involved in many other things. You're a writer, you're a poet as well. You also teach classes as well. Yeah. So now, for writing and poetry, I know I would guess you probably more enjoy the pursuit of poetry than writing, or
actually, poetry is the only writing that I do.
Okay.
So yeah, so anytime I talk about writing, that we live in Los Angeles and everyone's a screenwriter, it seems like I only write poetry.
Now, this is a way for you to tell some stories about your life and kind of reconcile those. Like, what made you choose poetry as like the vehicle for that, as opposed to maybe doing some short stories or anything like that?
I think, well, that's a really good question. Why poetry? I don't know. It's just something I was naturally drawn to. I think there are some people who like vanilla over chocolate. You know, I think that in just terms of like personal taste, poetry has an emotional immediacy to it that I don't think is present in novels or really even in short stories. And I think that poetry is the form that people run to when they are experiencing intense times. You know, it's, just recently a friend's mother died and he asked me for a poem to read. So it's those are the moments that we run to poetry. When people have breakups, that's when they write poems, right?
Although for me, it just seems, and maybe it just personally for me, if I had to think about in terms of writing, I find poetry so intimidating. It just seems so hard for me to be able to do that. But whether it's just like composing a short story or writing something like that seems easier for me.
Yeah, unfortunately, I would say just in the literary arts, there's a lot of elitism that I think is so ridiculous. I'm interested in having more and more people into the fold. Like, poetry is one of the great loves of my life, and I want more people to experience it. And that's how I started with writing workshops. I think I was 25 when I started my first writing workshop for gay and lesbian youth. And I did that around the country for quite a while, teaching these writing workshops, because the writings that, the poems that we were reading in high school did not resonate with my experience as a gay kid growing up in the Midwest. And it took me a while to find them. I'm really thankful for gay and lesbian bookstores and that I knew, how to find them and pick them up, or even some of the used bookstores in St. Louis, Missouri, that they would have gay and lesbian sections. And I would just, pick up a book and start looking through it. And that's how I found the gay writers that have really changed my life and inspired me.
Now, you also teach classes now for seniors as well. Now, that, and I was reading where it's like you at least require them to be there for the first 2 classes, and then after that, they kind of come in and out. Do you find that people just like they get a little intimidated by the experience of writing poetry, or it generates too much emotion, so they kind of maybe they're there for the first classes and they kind of step away for a little while?
Oh no, they're attendance isn't allowed. I don't have a strict attendance policy because I want them to enjoy the experience, and they can come or go as much as they want. I'm not really like forcing them to write with a pen.
You sit down.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
No, it's not like that. I actually started with seniors because after teaching writing workshops for youth, I taught writing workshops for people living with HIV, and I did that for a while. And I realized that elder voices are really the most muted and silenced. Like queer elders are so invisible. And I wanted to give them a platform, as well as I think that there's something healing about the writing process. And I wanted to connect them with the love of writing.
Is it different, I guess, with youth because they're still trying to figure out who they are? But by this point, like an elder may, at this point in their life, kind of know who they are, but they've never had a chance to really kind of live authentically. And so this is a chance for them to kind of dig back in and show a little bit more about their journey in life.
I think in some ways, I think that elders are less self-conscious. Yeah, they have a greater depth of knowledge of themselves, and they have a greater life experience to reflect upon. I think that they bring that to writing. I also think that when youth write, they bring that freshness of youth, right? And there's something kind of uncensoring about their experience too.
So now, if people want to get more involved in the Gay Rub Project, how can they do that?
thegayrub.com. And on thegayrub.com, there's a link to locations where people can find locations near them. I mail them rubbing supplies, and then the work is up to them to find the marker and go out there and do the rubbing. But yeah.
That's really cool. Wait for you guys to participate. Now, before we leave here, as we talked, Stephen is a poet as well. So we're going to leave right now this segment talking to Stephen to give him a chance to read one of his poems.
Oh, all right. So this is my most recent poem, and I thought it would be good for Gay Pride. It was actually a poem commissioned by the Folk Art Museum for an exhibition they had on male quilters. I know it was interesting. And Erin McIntosh created a quilt called Forest Frolic, and it had 2 male figures in it, and they were in the forest. And he stated that he was thinking about gay men in rural spaces. And that kind of stayed with me, and so I wrote a poem about his quilt, and it is based on a true story of a gay male couple in California in the 90s that were killed, and before their murderers killed them, they made them record a message on their answering machine to kind of buy them time. So they were forced to make a message on their outgoing message saying that, oh, we're not feeling well and we're going to see a doctor in San Francisco. And I thought how horrible for these 2 lovers to spend the last few minutes of their life doing this. So this poem is called The Message, and it's for Winfield Mauder and Gary Matson. The third voice gave it away. The just calm down and make it believable voice captured on the outgoing message an unnecessary 4-hour drive to San Francisco to see a doctor. Death was already in the room. Winfield and Gary lived the rural life, a home and happy valley together, create a legacy of nature and science. They sold produce at the farmer's market, met 2 brothers in the next booth, siblings who shared a copy of the white man's Bible, burned synagogues, carried rifles in the trunk. Gary's brother did not believe the message, drove to his brother and brother-in-law's house to find the couple naked in their platform bed, blood on the walls, 22 caliber shots to their heads, something the police would later call an overkill. The supremacist brothers stood on chairs at the foot of the bed with rifles in hand, lording power and death. The brothers had written it down. These murders were a prelude to more. The fake message, the couple's final words, crackling and unconvincing, buying time while the killers reloaded new guns on Gary's stolen credit card. Maybe Winfeld and Gary made love in their bed before the brothers broke in. Maybe they shared a goodnight kiss before they heard the first shots fired into the A-frame house. Maybe they were wearing wedding bands that night when they were forced to say into their own answering machine, we've come down with something pretty bad.
Wow. Thank you, Stephen. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
Stephen Rains, everybody here. You can go to thegayrub.com, find out more about how you get involved in that project. Coming up next year, please visit printmen.com or printmen.net for all your printing needs. And next up, Jeff London, director of Pizza Boy Massacre. You're watching WatchHollywood.tv, the internet's talk show.
Awesome. Good job, Frank. Thanks a lot, Stephen. That was great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
I didn't even show the rubbings.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no,
These are beautiful. No, let's. I want to record that.
Oh.
I just want to. So I'll just put that as part of the B-roll. Just hold them up to the camera for me.
Oh, all right.
Wow. That's a rubbing cup. You can get up and toward the camera.
Oh, do you want me to stand?
Yeah. Wow. Those are, okay, that's good. That's right there. Nice.
Do you want the others?
Very good. Yeah, let's go ahead and put another one in front of that. Okay, let's get another one.
So what was it like when the first time you get something, a rubbing in the mail from somebody that you didn't know there's something to you? It's gotta be such a great feeling.
Okay.
It's like all the people get it. It's not just my personal connection. Is that too small?
No, that's good. I just needed you could center more to the. Okay. There you go. Yeah, I can always use this as
sorry.
Yeah, use this as editing material. Okay.
And then, I don't think you don't need copies of like the first one.
Connection. Those
do
are
you
the
want me to
books?
send you JPEGs of them?
Yeah.
Let me
Please
do that.
yeah.
That way you know it's easier for you.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Oh,
yeah. Let's get some photos going.
Now we're posing photographs.
Now the posing. Stephen, I hope you thought. All right. Yeah, get some thought while we were in our conversation. This is exactly how I want to pose.
Where you guys?
Oh, back here.
Yeah, focus on the shoes.
Yeah. One second, let me get an Instagram with you guys.
Oh, were you about to?
Shaking hands.
Oh, congratulations. I
Thank you.
graduated.
One second, there you go.
Graduated with honors.
Right, there you go. Fine. Hello. And nice, good shot. Awesome, watch your head, and it was a pleasure. Thank you. All right, so I'll open this up with some air. Good job, Frank.
Oh, thank you.
11:35. We're doing pretty good. What time you gotta get out here?
Well, now that I'll do Jeff's interview, and then we'll bust out here after that.
It was hard. Not pushing you out.
Okay.
Yeah, much sugar. It's like Uber.
Hey, Jeff. Okay, you can grab a seat right there.
Ooh, I thought we had a table.
Oh, for the DVDs.
He's like, what? Oh, this is a
No. I thought it was gonna be across from a table.
Oh, no.
I was like,
That's
this is
right.
I don't know if I'm
It's
dressed
a
right.
good picture. No, we're good. No, you're fine.
So right here, okay, everything on the floor is okay.
We're just tweeting on your Instagram instead of the last stuff. Okay. Facebook, Twitter, Foursquare. People are going to start blocking me on Twitter. I'm tweeting so much. Okay. Wonderful. All right. So Jeff came all the way from Arizona
Oh, look at that.
just for the show, right?
Just for the show. That's right.
All right.
Is that your friend?
Bob, yeah.
He can come in if he wants and sit in on it if he likes.
Oh,
We
sure.
have space for at least one more person.
Sure, if
You
he
want
wants
to come in? Mark?
Ah,
You want to come in and watch the interview?
who's back here? Hi, Jeff and Frank.
Hi, Frank.
Nice to meet you.
You're
Thanks for doing this.
interviewing me?
I'll be interviewing you, asking those hard-hitting questions.
Great. Good questions, exactly.
That's right. Where were you on the night of?
Yeah.
It's a little warm. I'm just gonna use a little. Tim, when you get up, just let me know if you're about to get up so I can just guard you on the light above. All right? Just get a quick burst of air in here, just to move some of that stuff out.
All right.
All right. Okay, so everything that's happening right now is live, all right? So we're live. We record here for archiving, editing, all that good stuff. But this camera is always rolling. There it is right there. All right, so that's it. Just give me a couple minutes just to move some of this hot air around. And we can get started. All right.
So did you drive up from Arizona?
Drove up from like Havasu. So
Okay. I saw the post on the Pizza Boy Massacre Facebook page. I like doing like some scouting there for some of the locations. I guess that those posts might be a little old.
Yeah, we are going to shoot Pizza Boy in Lake Havasu.
Nice.
Yeah, so we bring the cast and crew from here to there.
Oh, good deal.
Like we did for Best Day Ever. and some
Uh,
other films I did.
You'll also let people know that he's also the director.
Yeah, we have a Blu-ray coming out and the DVD is out right now.
Yeah.
So I want you to repeat that thing again with me with the T-shirts, and the
Certainly.
chat, and
Got it.
whatever it is. All right, even if
Sure.
they sign up as members and stuff like that, we'll send them a T-shirt.
Sounds good. Oh, sign up as members. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
All right.
And right now they can sign up with their like their social media accounts, so it's 110% secure. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, so on and so forth. In the future, we'll be doing our own sign up that will also be secure, but that's in a few months.
Nice.
So right now, if they just go to the website and sign up, with their, or not sign up, but log in and use their Facebook account or Twitter account or whatever, we'll send them one. All right.
That can be part of the Watch
if they
Hollywood
chat,
TV on. Yeah.
If they chat, ask a question, we'll send them one. If they call in that number, 213-533-2030, we'll send them one.
Ah.
All right. So I'm going to put that number on here. So
Perfect. Thank you.
All right.
If you have a question just for Louise, call in.
If you got a question, Louise,
Yeah.
call in. You'll get a T-shirt.
I am single.
We have to mention that a lot.
That's right. Yes. We're not leaving, as I told him earlier, we're not leaving today until we find him true love. So that's it.
We're going to spend
Or
a
at
whole
least
segment
eight.
talking and
Oh,
trying to find you a mate. It's all about you.
Yes, that's right. Oh, and by the way, best ever quote Pizza Boy Massacre. Anyway, bye, guys.
Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay.
Great. Yes.
All right. Wonderful. All right. So everything looks queued up. Everyone's on camera. Good. Let's get this camera moving.
All right.
Okay, welcome back to,
Yeah.
I can't stop myself.
No worries. That's why you're the boss.
We're getting close here, get a tight shot.
Stupid and wobbly.
Cameras rolling, and action.
Welcome back to the Internet's talk show, WatchHollywood.tv. I'm Frank Moran. This is episode 5. We're celebrating Gay Pride Month. Now, folks, if you want to get involved in the show, go to WatchHollywood.tv. Get involved. You can log in. You can register right there. Use your Facebook or Twitter account. You do that, we're going to send you, nothing, just a cool WatchHollywood.tv t-shirt. For the ladies, a little distressed right there. For the men, we got you covered as well. Right there, nice little slimming black design right there. Do that, come in. But also, if you want to chat, we'll send you a t-shirt as well too. Ask a question. We've got a great guest coming up right here. Also, you chat, you come in, we ask you a question there. You can get a copy of Best Day Ever. Right now available on DVD. Coming out on Blu-ray July 7th. You get a little early advance, little sneak peek of this. Impress all your friends with an early copy of Best Day Ever. Now, speaking of Best Day Ever, let me introduce our guest here right here. Just the director of Best Day Ever. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff London. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Look at that. So yes, we talked about you. We've had Mel on earlier today. Yes, he talked to that. So what was it like working with Mel? Tell us all the deep, dark secrets of working with Mel.
Oh, where do I start? Where do I end? Mel's a true professional. Always came to the set prepared. We worked together for 3 months, every day on the phone, talking about the script, making changes, really perfecting it. And he just nailed the performance. He wanted to do me justice, being that the story is based on my true life events with my now husband partner James, and how we met. So James and I said, let's turn this into a story, and Mel just did a great job.
No, it's like telling your story, but through other people telling it. Is it hard to be objective, or is it like, I gotta let Mel make his choices here according to the scene as well?
Well, this particular movie worked where Mel actually stayed after me he kept saying, I want to do you justice. I want to do your story justice. I'm proud to be in this. He was always thanking me for being in the production. You don't get a lot of that from actors. And he's always thanking me, always wanted to get it right. It's like, well, what about your relationship with your dad and relationship? Did you do this when you two met? I want to do it the same way. I mean, we have to take liberties. We have to change a few things. We don't, James and I don't look like Mel and Tom necessarily, but that's just, you hire the best actor that can do the job for it. In fact, we had originally hired another actor to play Tom Saporito's role, but we had to make changes, and then we met Tom, and both of them together were just amazing.
Now, working on a film like that, watching your story come to life, but you're also filming it. Did you learn anything else about your relationship, or is it just like, we're just telling this story, or did it make you kind of think back on your relationship and maybe have a different appreciation for it?
I had more of an appreciation for my relationship. The fact that I was honored, the fact that these actors, you're standing there, it's very surreal. You're behind the camera, and you're saying to yourself, wow, these people are doing our life story, basically. And there were certain parts and certain lines that, like the best day I've ever seen, came from, I think I was in the shower one day, and I said something to James, and he came in there and said, look, meeting you was the greatest thing in my life, and ever since is the best day ever. Well, that's how the title came to be, and it might sound corny, but that's how it came up. And so I'm standing back there, and I'm looking at these two actors, and they would say certain lines that I would get choked up about. It's just the way it is. So every day I would reappreciate that we had done this, that these two performers were but I let them go, and they had some good ideas. Sometimes I had to be, no, this is the way it needs to be. But we all worked very, very well together, and just pulled it off. And so I'm happy that our story is out there.
Look at that. Again, July 7th, boom, right there on Blu-ray. Look at that. Now, folks, Jeff, you've done many films, but in addition to Best Day Ever, you did films before that. What led you want to pursue a career as a director?
Well, I was about 13, 14, and this may again sound cliche with a lot of directors. I thought I was alone, but I saw Jaws, And I have two favorite movies. One was the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and the other one was Jaws. And I saw Jaws, and that I thought, wow, this looks so neat and so fun. Well, I find out years later that Jaws was anything but fun and neat to make, of course. But that led me into this insane business of wanting to be a filmmaker. And, you know, I wanted to be on a higher level in my business by now, you know, mainstream features, bigger productions. But I did my first short film years ago, and it won me a Best Drama Award from the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences. And then that led me to raise some funds to do my first feature. And they were gay themed, relationship problems. And then I just got involved in that type of that genre, and in this genre. And over the years, I built this following. And now I like to make films. I like to write stories for middle America, for maybe stories that characters that are not represented. They don't take place in the cities. They're not about a city type, you know, particularly gay lifestyle, but it's more of a, Joe that lives in, Indiana and small town. And we all come from those types of towns for the most part. And that's how my stories started developing, writing stories. And I think this is my eighth feature.
Well, now, I know that you said maybe at this point in your career you envision doing more mainstream films, but I know coming with mainstream films, there's certainly bigger budgets, more studio control, more fingers in the pie, so to speak. So doing more of these lower budget films, more independent. I mean, you get a chance to have more control over the project. So I think in a way this is a little. I mean, well, maybe not exactly where you thought you might be, but a little bit more rewarding because your vision gets to come to the screen.
It's become more rewarding because I've been able to stay in control of the. All across the board, the film, the writing, the producing, the post-production, all that. And I'm not a controlling person by nature, but I think when filmmakers start out, we all think, oh, we're going to be the next, for lack of a better person, Spielberg. And I used to be teased a lot. Oh, you're going to be the next Spielberg. Well, no, I don't want to be Spielberg because Spielberg is Spielberg. But I would like to have bigger budgets. I would like to have grander scale type. I would like to do period pieces. I always joked, I would just, even in Best Day Ever, one of the lines that he says that I wrote was, I just want my camera crane shot over the Kansas wheat fields. It's expensive to rent a camera, a 100-foot camera that will, boom up over the Kansas wheat fields. Well, I want to do films like that. And I've always been locked into the budgets, the indie film budgets, micro budgets, and it's very constraining and very frustrating at times because you have to write your scripts. That's at least one thing smart that I've learned. I write the scripts to fit the budget. I don't overwrite and then try to doctor it along. So everything is on screen.
Well, I was reading with author Neil Gaiman. He was talking about when he was working on a project that if you give him carte blanche, he just seizes up. He really can't generate any ideas. But if you give him a box to work in, that's when he starts coming alive because he knows his boundaries and what he has to work within. Do you kind of feel like, while it's frustrating to have that, it really does fire those kind of constrictions with the micro budgets? It does fire your creativity.
Exactly, it does. You create the smaller, you create these small intimate scenes and these small intimate movies, the sleeper movies. That over the years I wondered, who sees my movies? Do people really benefit? I don't know if I'm speaking for me, but a lot of us in this business are always in this, constant love-hate thing. Do I love this? Do I want to retire? Can I keep doing this? Can I do it with the business and the politics and all this? And then you get an email or a letter from some fan that has seen your movies. It happened just last week. And I think, wow, people really, I was telling my husband, like, I don't know how to feel validated. I don't know if this is my right calling in my life because I'm always dealing with that. And he said, just because you don't see the lives you touched doesn't mean that this isn't your purpose. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly I've got an email or a nice letter out of the blue and say, because of your movies, it made a difference in my life and all this. And I go, oh, wow, I guess it did make a difference. And I appreciate that because sometimes you'll you're so busy worrying about the bad reviews, and every filmmaker can tell you, you read 10 great reviews, but if you read 1 or 2 bad reviews, it ruins your day.
Yeah.
And that's silly, but that's just a person's opinion.
But it's, I guess for some reason we always say that tend to lend more weight to a negative comment, as opposed to you can have 100 people praising you, but you'll stick that one negative one will always just stick in your head. Oh, come on, why?
Yeah, we like to think maybe we can make the perfect movie, but
Yes.
we can't. and now we're getting ready to do Pizza Boy Massacre. So
Yeah. So now is this your first foray into horror genre?
it's actually my second. I have another film that we just re-released. We released it in 96. It was called When Darkness Falls. It was going to, it was like, I'm going to make a gay themed, it was like a 2-story thing, 2 stories in one. And it was a cute little silly tongue-in-cheek horror type comedy. And it did very well on its DVD release, and then it died down, and then it went quiet after a few months, and some reviews came in, and it wasn't what people wanted, and I had to go back to the drawing board and go back to what my comfort zone, my bread and butter was the romance movies, the drama romance movies. And I thought, well, what did I do wrong? And one day I put in a DVD of John Carpenter and The Fog, which I love, and I was listening to what he had to say, and he said, we tested our movie and a lot of people didn't like it, so we had to get another $1 million and go add a bunch of footage and he said we were trying to make a real good old-fashioned ghost story, which is what I was trying to do. But it turns out the audiences wanted sex and gore and all these elements. And till this day, I'm always trying to stay ahead of the viewer, the curve of what do people want. And it's really hard because a lot of people want everything in a movie these days, and you can't give them that. So I put off the horror genre for a few years. I had a lot of fun making it. I love them. I grew up with them. I'm pretty good at directing them. So that's why we thought, okay, it's been a few years. I need a break from doing some romance dramas. Let's do something fun and see how that goes, and maybe find a newer audience. And it's Pizza Boy Massacre is more of a mainstream. It's got its gay characters, straight characters, but it's more of a cross-marketing type story, so we can include everybody. Maybe do something with it.
Now, I just read like the plot description, very secretive about it. I mean, certainly the main character has some kind of confrontation there with the medium, and he's turned into something, but realizes that he can survive if he keeps bringing pizza boys over and can live on them. So he's being very secretive. Even, in fact, I was just reading where the cast isn't going to get the last page of the script until the film starts shooting. So why be so secretive in terms, like, even with the script and the cast?
Well, we don't want to give I've never done this because I've mostly done dramas, but I wanted to keep some of the plot away from, it's the whole Hitchcocky thing. Let's not tell people, what the twist is that creates, yes, there's a psychic medium he goes to, and he and his friends are kind of obnoxious, and they irritate her, and so she finds a way to change the lead, played by Peter Stickles is the star of it, and changes his life. We just wanted to keep this one kind of some of it quiet, yet let out enough information, and it's intriguing, and people like to maybe think that there's something new out there. Mm-hmm. That's the other thing. Horror movies, everything's been done. Everything's been done. Now Hollywood is trying to redo it, and we sat there one day. And see, we wrote this a year and a half ago, and we were going to shoot it. We put it off. We thought, let's go back and look at Pizza Boy Massacre. So we've done a lot of new rewriting, changed a lot of story ideas. We want people to be shocked at, what he turns into and how he turns into it. And we first toyed with the whole, let's make him a zombie, and he just keeps killing the pizza boys. Well, everybody and their dog is doing a zombie movie, and it's hard for me to watch another apocalyptic post-war zombie movie. I just can't watch them anymore. They've been done to death. Come up with something new. So we came up with a new idea. And the one thing I can tell you is that he decides the night after that he has this intense, insatiable need or thirst or hunger for something and he doesn't know what it is. And after he eats all the leftover pizzas at the part from the night before, he realizes he still needs it. So he remembers that they have pizza on speed dial, and we set up the story early that they're always ordering pizza, these two guys. So he orders pizza, and then he can kill a pizza boy, and he was like, oh, if I just keep ordering pizza from every pizza boy in town, so these pizza boys start disappearing, and they don't get back to work, and then each one of them dies in a different way, and then there's another month. We wind up killing quite a few people, some in actual scenes, some in montage ways. So there's a lot of that. And then there's conversations with the pizza boys in the cars, talking to their girlfriend or boyfriend on the way. So there's that conversation. It's kind of like it's like a 50s pillow talkie, split screen thing with the guys doing all this stuff. And then as far as we're shooting it in Arizona, which I live in Lake Havasu, Arizona now. I've been there 8 years and I love it there. It keeps my mind clear being out of Los Angeles, and I can think better. So it's beautiful scenery. We've got the lake. We have swimming pools. So there's going to be action outside in the neighborhood. There's a neighborhood guy with an annoying dog that just barks, won't stop. So maybe Peter's going to take the neighbor out. Maybe he's going to get sick of this guy's barking dog. Yeah. So in the end, I thought, we just came up with the end scene a few weeks ago, and James wrote that, and I said, James, my problem's always been the end, and your ending that you just came up with makes me want to shoot this movie just for the ending, and no one's going to know the ending because it's a total, it's like an epilogue to the end of the movie, and we find out it's like, we think this happens in the end, and then later on, a couple nights later, and then it's a shocker. So
nice.
But I just don't want to tell you.
Yeah, no. You gotta make the movie first before you start divulging all the secrets. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So now for a horror film, the cool thing is you do a lot of practical effects for that. Are you going to be doing a lot of practical effects? Do you get excited about the prospect of doing that, blood squirting, things like that?
I wish I was more excited about practical effects. I'm old school. No CGI. Mm-hmm. I'm done with CGI. And if we can, CGI was designed to help, not to replace. So we have 4 or 5 pizza boys that get killed in different. Well, one may or may not die. They get killed in different ways. Each one dies differently. Excuse me. My stress comes from worrying about the budget, and the practical effects. Like, oh yeah, it's easy to write in the script. Well, his head gets ripped off and his, chest gets split open, all this stuff. Well, yeah, sure, it's easy to write, but who's going to pay for this? And the time involved with setting it up. And then we're using this brand new big house with tile floors. And, we're centering the main action, a lot of the main action on the sectional on top of white carpet. So I want the contrast of the white carpet with the blood. Mm-hmm. So then we have to put plastic down. We have to bring in our own furniture and all this stuff. So when you're shooting in someone's house, you have to be aware. So each killings are going to be isolated. Maybe in the garage, the living room, the kitchen. Maybe one pizza boy will accidentally kill himself, in being chased. But one pizza boy may get part of his, may get his throat ripped out or something like that. So I'm excited, but when it gets closer to me seeing exactly how we're finalizing the kills from each character, and I think, no, we can't do that. That's going to take tubes and blood, and we're going to have to do retakes, and you always got to do retakes, and it's just so we want to be entertaining and have a real good, fast, constantly moving pace. And it's not going to. It's the story is wrapped around another wraparound episodes. We have a character called Scary Mary, and it's an Elvira type character, and she introduces the movie, and she wraps up the movie, and we have. I will tell you this. It was going to be a secret. We have the ending of a horror movie that opens the movie. That's not part of Pizza Boy Massacre. But it's a trick opening,
nice.
And you're like, oh, we're watching this, we're already involved, and boom, that movie, then those characters, you know, the girl with the shaky boobs and the guy in the car making out and the two guys in their underwear in the tent run out, and it's really going to be fun and we're going to kill them all. And then it's like, oh, that's not the movie. Now we're going to see the movie. So we've got 24 actors in this movie, I think, and it's a small logistics. It's a big logistics thing, and we're going to have to do a fundraiser shortly with Kickstarter or Indiegogo to help raise some completion fund. But we're shooting the story in segments, so we're shooting a teaser trailer next month as part of the fundraiser to help. So we'll be able to offer audiences some information.
Well, that's mentioned for these smaller films. I mean, you really do become like just a really tight knit group, because I mean, everybody, you got to rely on everybody else. There's not a lot of frills and all that stuff. You're really relying on each other to get things done. So I really imagine that makes those strong connections.
Yeah, I work with the same people. I've worked with the same DP, director of photography, and he does his latest movies are Sharknado, Sharknado 2. Oh, he does a lot of big movies. There's a lot of sci-fi channel movies. So he's our director of photography. And he's really good. And so, yeah, we have a very small crew. We have like 6 or 7 or 8 people, and everybody knows what everyone's doing. And because you have to write for the budget and not overwrite, I literally can't afford to overshoot. No, we can't. Well, let's do these extra scenes, and then if we put them in the movie or we'll have them. No, we can't do that. We've only got budgeted. We're budgeted for 10-day shoot, and we've got to do all these scenes. And if you see Best Day Ever or A Warm Wind or Regarding Billy or any of these, everything we shoot is on screen. There's just maybe some bloopers, but there's nothing else. There are no real hidden out scenes that were deleted because we just couldn't afford to shoot them.
Yeah. So
basically,
because once the script's left, you pretty much at this point with the budget, like this is what's going on screen.
Exactly. This is what's going on. I'm not a multi-take director. I like to, we set it up, we block it. I don't really do we don't need to do a lot of full rehearsals if somebody's just talking. And so we pretty much just do 2 or 3 takes and and then we move on to the next thing. And, I don't jump up and down and get excited and go, oh yeah, team, that was great. Because everybody, my role is, like not to take from Hitchcock, but I used to think, why do I think like this? Well, it turns out other directors, you learn about other directors' techniques over the years, like Hitchcock. Like, I will not tell you if you're doing great necessarily. I'll say, good job. We'll move on, but I'll tell you if I need you to do something different. Right. It's like, because, we're all here, we're a team, we're working together, but I want you to feel confident as an actor. You will have your background, you'll have your character breakdown. If you call me out of the blue at 2 a.m. the night before and say, Jeff, where was this character born? And I get those calls, and I will pull it out of my, head, and I will say, he was born in, Indiana, in this town's name. And like, if that's what the actor needs, I'll give it to him. And it makes all the difference. And then everybody's required to show up knowing their parts. They've had their scripts weeks ahead. I've already talked to them at lengths about their characters. And then we show up and we shoot the scene. And it works beautifully because everybody already knows what they're doing. And then we go to the next scene. There's not a lot of question for relearning. This is not the time to learn what I just talked to you about, over 3 weeks ago. So
go with your game face on, ready to play.
Ready to play.
Yeah. So, all right, folks, if you want to follow more about Pizza Boy Massacre, you can like you on Facebook. Is that the best way to keep up?
Yeah, Pizza Boy Massacre on Facebook. RadioactiveCactus.com is our website.
Nice. And if you want to get Best Day Ever, it's coming out on Blu-ray July 7th. You can go to bestdayevermovie.us. Find out more about that right there. So thanks for watching episode 5 of the Internet's Talk Show on WatchHollywood.tv. Please visit printman.net for all your printing needs. Guys, have a great day. Hope you enjoyed episode 5. We're celebrating Gay Pride Month. Thanks to all our guests right here. Check us out on WatchHollywood.tv. Like us, register, get yourself a t-shirt, copy of the DVD of Best Day Ever. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time for episode 6 of the Internet's Talk Show.
Wonderful. Okay. That was great. That was good stuff.
That wasn't good for me. Let's do it again.
Okay. That was good.
Get this guy out of here. Thanks,
That was
guys.
that was a
Is that
nice
okay? I just
interview.
yeah.
No, that was.
What you
fun.
get me going? You know?
Yeah, that's good. That was really good.
I went to
That's so. Cool.
I went to an interview on the Fox affiliate in Phoenix last year for A Warm Wind, and she asked me a question. I just started rambling, and she said, "Well." She said, "Jeff, I just need you to say these few things, and then I'll lead you in." And she said, "This isn't live." I thought, "Oh my God, if I had been doing this live, I would have said a total ass." Okay. So, there.
Okay, good. Open the door now.
All right. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank
Pleasure.
you. That was
No.
great.
Oh, thanks for
Great
taking
having you.
Oh, thank you. I enjoyed talking to you. It's great. Just
Cool. Thanks.
Jeff, that was
Look me
great.
up on Facebook, you guys.
yeah, absolutely.
Friend me and
Yes. Cool.
Yeah, AK Martin. I'll search you. That's my handle on Facebook.
AK Martin.
Yeah. Oh, and like our Watch Hollywood TV Facebook page.
Yeah.
Help us.
Yeah. If I haven't already, I'll do it when I
Okay,
get back to
cool.
Arizona tonight.
Yeah, I'll remind you.
Yeah, please do.
Driving back tonight?
Yeah, I'm going back. I'm going to Forest Lawn for a cert for his mom's girls.
Oh, good.
And then we're going to go to the Cavs City.
Oh,
I
nice.
stayed over last night, and I'm like, I used to live here. I'm like, I'm over it.
Yeah.
It's so gorgeous in the Cavs City.
That's right. Yeah, why
Now, you want to keep those and do something with those?
Yeah. If you don't
We
mind.
never
Sure.
got Mel and I never got them autographed.
Is Mel still here? Yeah, Mel's still here. I know, dude. Good work.
Oh,
Great.
thank you, man. Good to see you. It's great.
Great.
Oh, we didn't. We tried to get you. We tried to get you.
Oh, damn it.
Sorry.
Come on, come back.
Did you get people to give them away? Should chefs on them too? Well, the first thing. Oh, okay. But what I'll do is, as I upload the stuff, I'll start having them available for everybody. Yeah. Okay, yeah, you guys want to, hey, Jeff, it's okay, we'll talk some more, based on the stuff that we talked about earlier this week. Yeah, I'll be in touch with you with that. So, see where we go from there.
No, I know.
I think you're sitting here.
No, I was flying in. Oh.
And then he'll put in a chair there for Mel, probably. Chair there.
After the,
So,
the service.
We're taking some.
So maybe I can talk to you.
we have yours.
Like tomorrow or Monday.
Thing in my hair. It's got like gross touches right now. Oh, yeah,
Just to
but
shoot
it's actually way down right now, so it'd be more flyweight.
Yeah, I think those
Yeah,
are
yeah.
all.
No, I'm not with or without all. You guys ever seen that? I just want to find out what's possible. Yeah, because like I said, I have a feeling that.
Oh, you're on air, by the way. Okay, they just leave it on.
Right, but it's. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't recording. Camera is live.
Yeah, I just don't know that.
You know what I mean? Are we going on in the second? Yeah. I don't need to do this.
This side right here.
Why don't you? No, so.
Switched it. That's what we're doing. You're checking my coat.
Hey, Alex, are we going on right now?
It's still.
I mean, what I'm.
Yeah.
I tried really hard not to. What'd you say?
Like good radio.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Do you have a button?
One of those.
No, because it's the internet. You say anything you want.
So I'll talk to you more, okay? Oh, I know.
I know, is that cute? Microwave it. I mean, the.
Yeah, but on that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's been bugging me since he's been there.
Oh,
Yeah.
back
I
to-
don't think there's anybody on there yet except you.
Jay.
I got like 23 people to put on there.
Okay.
It's a huge cast. I'll put you on there when I get home.
Yeah, no, just, okay.
Oops. Where do I sit?
Oh, that's his chair.
Yeah.
I can stand. Oh, no. Okay, can I ask you one?
Really beloved, right?
Really Beloved, a love story across genders. You need me to say the subtitle.
Okay.
We have to have me verify. No, you're gonna be like right about here. Hold on, before you sit down.
You want to place it?
You're gonna be right next to her because, gotta have a seat right there. Let me, see like this. So, camera there. It's gonna time delay, so it's gonna take a couple of seconds for me to see the three-way habit. Okay, there's no,
There I am.
We don't want coughing out. Do you get to be on the other side of the action like this normally?
Not really. Not normally. I've done some.
You have your intro and all of that stuff queued up in your head.
I know I'm on Watch Hollywood TV.
WatchHollywood.tv.
WatchHollywood.tv.
That is important.
And
Otherwise,
I know that I'm talking to Diane and Jake Anderson-Minshall.
Jacob.
Jacob.
I mean, I call him Jake, but he goes by
Okay,
Jacob
Jacob.
professionally.
There you are.
And I know that their book is called Queerly Beloved,
Okay, cool.
a love story
Cross gender.
Across genders.
Okay, cool.
So I think I've got it.
And we will do this as a, when we edit it, we'll do it as an extra part of the show.
Awesome.
All right, let's see. All right, looks like you're all queued up there. Good. Now we just place your mic.
I'm one of those people that I don't like looking at myself on camera.
Yeah.
So
That's when Jake and I do interviews. We do some of the like Skype type interviews. He always likes it so that he sees the other person. I always like it so I can see myself.
oh.
So we're always just like, you should be in a different room. It's like if I don't know how I look, it's freaking me out. But he's the other way.
All right.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Oh, that's better. Okay.
All right. Okay. Hello, check. Okay, Mel. Camera is rolling. And action.
Hi, we're back with WatchHollywood.tv. I'm Mel England, and we're excited today to be having an opportunity to come back and talk a little bit more with Diane Anderson-Minshall and Jacob Anderson-Minshall. They are a married couple, as happily married, and they've written a book which is actually really exciting and a topic that's so like on the cusp of everybody's lips right now, which is about your marriage. It's called Queerly Beloved. Help me with the subtitle.
A love story across genders.
A love story across genders. And so, well, why don't you guys tell me a little bit about the book?
Sure. Well, Jake and I have been married 25 years now.
Congratulations.
And about 16 years into our marriage, we got married. We were like 22, so it was still domestic partnership back then. We didn't have marriage equality across the land at that point. But and we were at that time both little lesbians. So the first 16 years of our marriage, we were a lesbian couple, and then after some therapy and after some other stuff, Jake came out as a transgender man. And so that was 16 years into our marriage, and Jacob transitioned, and that was almost a decade ago. And the book really goes into, it kind of starts there at the point where Jacob is figuring out what this means for him, and talking with me on the journey that we went on to be to sort of fight for our relationship and to allow our relationship to transition and to allow both of us to transition in this way that, you know, it really, you know, sort of, it's the telling of our love story and how it evolved. And it's really surprising.
I think one of those things that was really important for us about writing this was that when I first came out, we were like getting every film and every, you know, TV show that was about trans and people and trying to just learn more. And almost every story of the trans man would be like, he would start out, you know, as a couple and then end up with that person alone walking away. And it just, you know, was so depressing and sort of made you feel like, well, can you even make it? Can you even survive this as a couple? So, you know, we really wanted from the start to have more visibility for couples who have gone through transition and have, you know, continued to stay together. And that's really one of the reasons why we felt like it was so important to tell a story.
Sure. Now, and that's that's just what I'm so fascinated by is the fact that you guys, I don't know if how unique you are, but certainly, at least in the stories that we hear about, you know, it does seem unique.
Yeah.
And the book is something that's written like after you went through that process of deciding to stay together. So what was that like for you specifically, Jacob, to be on the precipice of that and see that, and then were you afraid that Diane would reject you or that the relationship wouldn't survive?
Yeah, absolutely. I was terrified. I mean, I was terrified, and you know, I even at the very beginning, I said, well, you know, it was really important for me to come out and say, I feel like this is who I am. But at that moment, I wasn't sure if I couldn't just be done with that, just say that, and that might not be enough, you know. I especially wasn't willing to risk losing Diane at that point. And, you know, Diane really, she's the kind of person who wants to solve problems, and, you know, you can't just say something like, I'm really a man, and not go somewhere with that for her, you know. So she really, in the beginning, sort of fueled things for my transition. Like I probably would have, you know, slowed everything down a lot more, but I'm so thrilled that I didn't have to. And again, she's, you know, for me, she's just a remarkable person. I'm amazed that the statistics are what they are. There is something like 30% of couples that actually do make it, which is to me amazing.
Wow.
That many, but that also means 70% of couples don't. So.
And what was that like for you, Diane? I mean, obviously, you guys were already together and committed and together. But, like, for example, I'm just thinking of one friend of mine who, well, for the purpose of this, she'll remain nameless. But I was even talking about her earlier with you guys in the green room. That when she went through the transition, actually, that there was a whole community of people that actually didn't accept her and friendships that went by the wayside. And so, I mean, I guess, how do I say this? It wouldn't be so weird for you to wake up and say, wait, this isn't the person I married. This isn't what I'm a lesbian. I want to be with a woman or whatever, not a man. So what was that like for you?
I think that, you know, I mean, we certainly had a lot of people tell us that it wasn't going to work out. I don't know why, but I had a lot of people tell me that that Jake was going to be gay now.
Right.
Because there are a lot of people who, you know, I understand that there are some FTMs who do come out and then who do decide to explore their sexual orientation. But a lot of people just don't understand gender identity is different from sexual orientation. So we had a lot of that, though. I did have a lot of, you know, a good number of people who did think that it was going to work out. And but I think that, you know, for me, it was really important to work through it. It was really important to get Jacob in therapy right away. It was important for me to be in therapy.
Yeah.
You know, just to have somebody I could talk with who didn't have a stake in the whole matter. Because, you know, your friends, they have a stake. They want to protect you, and your family's all got their opinion. And so I think, though, that there were some really tough times in that first year. I definitely did, you know, a little bit of crying there. And but I think that I always just recognize that this is the same person inside, even as even as he was going through these really annoying changes in some cases, because testosterone does a lot of really annoying things to you.
Wow.
So
Tell me about it.
yeah, right. I mean, what it was is like testosterone, and for women who are transitioning, of course, they have
Right.
estrogen, but testosterone's like flooding your body. It's making you go through puberty. So if you imagine, you know, who wants to be around a 14-year-old boy, right? Besides other 14-year-old boys. So it's like, you know, so it's doing, you know, those kinds of things, and all these changes, and also transitioning is sort of, you know, itself is sort of, it needs to be sort of a selfish act in that, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that like, it's your time to like come out into your own and discover who you are. And so you have to sort of necessarily be attuned to what's happening with you.
Right.
You can't necessarily be sort of involved with what's happening in the rest of the world at that time.
Right.
So everybody else kind of has to fend for themselves a little bit more, you know? And so I think that there's, you know, little elements of that that may have been uncomfortable. But again, I think that once we went through those, that I was able to just continue to see that this is the person that I fell in love with, that we both, in, you know, 25 years of marriage at this point, we've both gone through so many different transitions that this was one of them. And yes, people think it's a really big one because it seems really big, but it was just one of our transitions.
Yeah, and I think that one of the important things about that time period too was that, you know, as a self-identified lesbian who was also editing the nation's largest lesbian publication at the time, there was a lot of, you know, both our own concerns about acceptance and other people's concerns about, you know, well, what does it mean now that you are with a man, and can you still call yourself a lesbian? Can you still represent us in magazines? Can you still do these things? You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think that was, it was a little bit of a concern. In fact, we'd also just done a book deal for our first, we write novels together as well. And so we've had several novels, mystery novels together. And so we just gotten our first book deal. And at the same time, I was editing Curve magazine, which is still the largest lesbian publication in the world, I think, at this point. So we went to both of our publishers and said, for my magazine publisher, Frances Stevens, she was very lovely. And I said, do you need me to resign? Or am I going to lose my job? Or do we need to stay in the closet about this? We weren't looking forward to the possibility of going back into the closet, but we both considered it. Like it was like a, you know, better than losing your career, right? At that moment, you know, we were trying to make do. And she was like, oh my God, no, you know, like we love you, and we love him, and you're still the best person to run this magazine.
Wow.
So I don't care what's happening, you know.
That's great.
And so that was really good.
For
And
our
then,
book publisher, I was the first non-lesbian first man that they had on contract. So that was a big thing. But she also was very accepting. She said, I believe my audience will go with it.
she was like, I don't know how people react. I don't know what sales will be like, but we believe in our readers. And
yeah, that's great.
Now, so then, and that's an incredible just testament to her and to the publication. I'm curious about, just in your personal lives, did you have blowback individually for you in terms of just the lesbian community, lesbian friends,
this is the funniest
or for you
part.
as a couple? Like,
yeah, no, this is actually a funny story, not actually about friends, but I always have to tell it because there's this adage when you come out as trans that the people you think are going to be supportive won't be, and the people that you won't think will be. And it came out to be kind of true for us, so it was really interesting. But one of the people who was really concerned was Jacob's mom, and she said, no. You know, that was the first thing, was like, no, don't buy it.
I don't buy it. I don't think this is true for you.
Right. And so what she did was send a quiz that was a male brain, how to determine whether you have a male brain or a female brain. It was like multiple pages, like a scientific survey. Jake had to fill out this giant evaluation form and then send it back to her. And excuse me. And you know, a lot of the questions I was like, well, he had the same answer I did, and we were just like, we were both like, I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be the male brain, but whatever. Anyway, and then she and anyway, so he sent it back to her, and we never heard about it again, and she never told him she wasn't trans anymore. So it worked.
Yeah.
Wow. So then your mom has not accepted you? Is
No,
that...
she has.
She has.
Oh, now.
Yeah,
She
absolutely.
came right around.
Yeah,
Oh,
she came around.
Oh, I see.
And,
Okay.
You know, I mean, the first thing, actually, one of the things that was interesting was all the women that I told I was transitioning all said, how can you do that to Diane?
Right.
And all the men said, yeah, great, of course. You know, whatever. Like
The men
hey,
in my
join
family,
me,
like
you know?
my dad, who you know, is a little
Now, hetero men, gay men, or both?
hetero.
Oh, the hetero guys.
I
yeah.
mean, we had a lot of hetero guys, like my dad, which totally surprised us. You know, he was like, congratulations.
Yeah.
And we realized for a lot of the, like, you know, guys, they were like, well, of course you want to be a man. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Well, now that leads me kind of in a way to my next question, which is, okay, so you both have this life where you both identified as you know, as being lesbian and being in that world, and then being a couple, lesbian couple, and then all of a sudden, here you are, by all intents and purposes, on the outside in the appearance, heteronormative. Nobody would necessarily know. If I just met you on the street, I wouldn't necessarily know that you were trans at all. And so have you discovered, like, are there little, I'm just so curious as a gay man, and that can pass, you know, in that way. And I get away with it a lot. And I also have white privilege. I have all these privileges. But what are the heteronormative privileges that you might experience because suddenly you're walking around as a normal couple?
I was so uncomfortable with that at first, because the first 6 months, basically, I over-explained everything to every service worker that we met. For example, this is a true story. I was at, like, you know, Albertsons or one of the grocery stores, and the woman said, oh, nice blouse. And I said, oh, thank you. It was a gift for my husband, except he used to be a woman, because I'm a lesbian. Still a lesbian. Right? And she just looked completely baffled. And but I did that to everybody for 6 whole months and stuff, and they were all like, "Oh my God, what is this woman talking about?" So we definitely overcompensated at first. We were like, queer, you know,
and
everywhere
it's still hard,
but
like, not being recognized. That's,
yeah,
you know, like I will still, like, you know, nod at lesbians. And they don't.
They think you're just some guy. Yeah.
A lot of times women
he's just some guy hitting on him or something.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think that, you know, in the public sphere, I think people understand that that we're very much involved with the LGBT world, and that we both ID as queer and stuff like that. But yeah, the street. But hetero privileges, the heteronormative privileges happened the day after.
Right.
And because we had both only been in adult relationships with other women, even before we got together, we didn't even realize what we were missing. So like, you know, when we were a lesbian couple, we had to, you know, with your credit card company, you know how you have to have paperwork saying they can talk with your partner and all that kind of stuff. And so we had all that paperwork on file. And so it was always a rigmarole where I'd be like, yes, it's my partner. Yes, I have her social security. Yes, I can talk. This time, we did a vow renewal ceremony. We got legally married in the state of California because we had been one of the Prop 8 couples kicked out and stuff, pre-Prop 8. So in this particular case, the day after that, I called a change of form. I called the credit card company and I said one word different, husband instead of wife.
Right.
They gave me complete access, didn't even ask me anything.
You know, it's so funny because Tony and I were just recently renting a car and something happened. And we went, oh, well, we want to have the additional driver. And then it was like, you know, and then the guy at the counter, Enterprise, said, oh, well, spouses, I always my spouse, spouses automatically get, you know, for free. And I was like, wow, all those years I could have had that $25 that they never gave us.
Right.
And it's like stuff like that you don't even know the doors that are opening for you.
You don't realize what you're missing.
Yeah. So, you know, I want to acknowledge you guys. Oh, that's it. You know, oops.
I'm gonna. We can.
That was my
remember
bad.
that.
Yeah.
Remember where you left off. I'm gonna put another tape in there, but that has like 17 minutes on it, and we'll take it from where you just.
Okay. For some reason, I thought we were live.
We are live.
Oh, we are still live.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we're still talking.
Yeah, we got to record for.
We got to keep recording.
Yeah,
put a tag on it. Okay.
gonna record and upload. Let's see.
Yeah, that way that people can come afterwards and watch it as
Yeah,
well.
Yeah.
this is for the archive. Yeah. And then it's gonna get edited and look all pretty.
Exactly.
Thanks.
We'll all sound so much smarter once you're done.
No, it's so interesting. Like that could be an interesting movie. Like to see like wow, what a wild story.
Yeah, we hear that a lot. Yeah.
That's cute. Ready?
You want to just tell that
Camera's
story?
rolling.
Oh,
You're on.
Just tell your story.
yeah, no, that's the wildest thing. That happens with Tony and I recently rented a car, and then this thing happened at the counter where the Enterprise guy all of a sudden said, "Oh, well," I think Tony said, "Oh, well, we're a couple because we want to add him as an extra driver."
Right.
And he said, "Oh, well, spouses don't have to pay that $25." And that's when we were like, "Oh my God, all those years we paid the $25."
Right, exactly.
And it's that weird thing where doors are opening for you
Didn't even know.
and you don't even know. So it's a fascinating thing. I want to just acknowledge you guys as role models for so many. And you've written this book, Queerly Beloved.
A love story across genders
Yeah,
from
and-
Bold Strokes Books.
Okay, good. And I think it's really remarkable because I think it's a wonderful thing to see that people can go through the transition and that you can stay together. And what a beautiful story.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you.
sharing
Thanks
it.
for having us.
And what's so amazing is staying together, not just, not just like Diane said, that this transition, I definitely changed it externally, but I was the kind of feminist that actually really believed that men and women are different solely because we're raised different. Like, from the moment you're born, people start putting you in one of these boxes over here or there. And I was so unprepared for the kind of changes I went through on testosterone. Like my personality changed, how I experience emotions changed, all of these things changed that were so surprising. And that I think has probably been the hardest part of actually dealing with my change has been.
Yes, you've heard of lesbian processing, where you stay up all night talking us. Yeah, that doesn't happen once one of you takes testosterone.
But it's so funny because
it's gone when you're not lesbians together
that
anymore.
proves to me that you're now a heterosexual guy as opposed to a gay guy because I love to process.
There you go.
So that's what it is. Yeah. So anyway, thanks a lot, you guys,
Thanks.
and please, people, get the book because I think it's a great chance to.
You can check it out at www.queerlybelovedbook.com.
Yeah.
As well as our publisher.
Queerlybeloved.us.
Okay. And thanks for watching Watch Hollywood TV.
Watch Hollywood TV.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Yay. Thanks, Alistair.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you.
Okay.
Hey,
Yay.
before you.
I have to sign some DVDs for you guys. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's just have a quick chat.
That was awesome.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so very, very much.
Cool beans, huh? Yeah, it gets warm. All right, I'm just gonna go offline right now.
Yes.
Hey everyone, that was episode 5 of the Internet's Talk Show on WatchHollywood.tv. Go ahead and hit us up on WatchHollywood.tv. You can also catch us on WHTV.us. Lots of new stuff going to be happening with the company real soon. The next few months, you're going to be able to actually watch movies Netflix style on WatchHollywood.tv or WHTV.us. All streaming live. Great buffering, not a whole lot of wait time. Like I said, just like Netflix. So we're going to be focusing on independent films. So we will soon have a library of a lot of great independent film that you can become a member of WHCV.us and watch those great movies. All right, so again, thanks for watching. And after the show and after everything's uploaded, Still reach out to us. We'll still keep those free T-shirts for you. We'll still send out those 5 DVDs that Jeff London promised. And the DVDs are $14.99. It's a great movie. I saw it myself. Just buy a copy. Thanks again. Oops. Look, half of my face.
That's what I was trying to tell you.
Tell me?
I was trying to tell you to go down.
Let's do that again, guys.
Yeah, you need to step off the stage or sit. Yeah.
Am I here? Again, we're doing this again.
Wait.
Oh, you know what? Why don't I just record myself?
Yeah.
Get behind the camera. Because we're gonna shut that in there. Okay. So with Zoom.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll just go wide. Oh, and I can see myself here. That red button is record. So just hit. Okay, good. How's it going? Okay, that's good. That's a good shot.
Sure.
Hi guys, again, thanks for tuning in and watching our show, the 5th episode of the Internet Talk Show on WatchHollywood.tv. It was a great show. A lot of really cool people on the show today. Those DVDs that we promised you for the best day ever will still be available for those 5 people that decide that they want to connect with us right after the show. You will always get the T-shirts once we start uploading the show. We'll still give you those T-shirts after the show. And again, a lot of cool stuff happening with WHTV.us or WatchHollywood.tv. Pretty soon, in the next few months, we'll be doing streaming movies. So you'll be able to sign up, become a member of WatchHollywood.tv, and you will be able to watch movies, independent movies, great independent movies, Netflix style. So it's going to be really cool. The buffering is awesome, like I said, just like Netflix, only better because we're indie. And that's it. Again, thanks for watching, and please like us on Facebook. Like us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, and all of that social media stuff. And just keep an eye out. Lots of cool stuff, lots of new things, lots of big things. Thanks again.
All right. Another show in the can. Here, before I forget, and take these home.
Okay.
It is hot in here.
Yeah.
It's hot in here.
Is this still on? Are we still live?
Hey, yeah, that's still live. Let me just go.
Yeah, before I come in here and say something like I did the last time.